Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Invincibility starts with God level selection. Chapter 1. Students should all know that since the recovery of source energy, warriors, mentalists, and superpowers have emerged in endlessly. The truly strong ones can move mountains, fill seas, and shatter stars with their palms, just like the legendary gods. Quote. So, do any students know when the source energy era started? Classmate Lin Yuan, please answer this question. A bald teacher with a majestic face pushed up the glasses on the bridge of his nose and said coldly. Lin Yuan, who had been distracted just now, suddenly stood up, with a look of astonishment on his face. The reason why he felt surprised was not because of the sudden question from the head teacher, but because two options suddenly appeared in front of him. Choice 1. Tell the teacher loudly, I don't know how, and you will be rewarded with 100 points of vitality and a summoning card for the Demon Fox Doji. Choice 2. Answer the question correctly, and you will be rewarded with 100 Hz of mental power and the Thunder King's gloves. What is this? Lin Yuan stared blankly at the options in front of him, thinking he was dreaming. Lin Yuan, what's wrong with you? Can't you even answer such a simple question? The bald teacher frowned with an unhappy look on his face. Lin Yuan finally reacted and said hurriedly, the beginning of the era of source energy started with the mutation in the summer of 2120. That mutation directly led to the revival of spiritual energy, the explosion of source energy, and countless ferocious beasts rampaging around. In this world, in the process of resisting the alien beasts, the human race gradually appeared warriors, spiritual practitioners, psychic practitioners, and many other practitioners. Lin Yuan spent 2 minutes roughly reciting the history of the source energy era. Finally, the bald teacher nodded and raised his hand to signal him to sit down. That's a good answer. Don't be distracted next time in class. Although the martial arts test is very important, the proportion of cultural scores is also not low. Lin Yuan didn't listen to a word of what the bald teacher said. Because a bullet box appeared in front of him again. Congratulations to the host for completing the choice. You will be rewarded with 100 Hz of mental power and the Thunder King's gloves. Lin Yuan was stunned for a moment, feeling warm currents flowing through his brain, followed by a tingling sensation, which significantly improved his mental strength. At the same time, a pair of azure gloves surrounded by thunder suddenly appeared in Lin Yuan's hands. This is Thunder King's gloves. Really or not, my mental power has really increased by 100 Hz. While Lin Yuan was shocked, an attribute panel appeared out of thin air in front of him. Host. Lin Yuan, equal order, late first order. Qi and blood, 1846 points. Mental power, 1288 Hz. Power, none. Looking at the attribute panel that appeared out of thin air in front of him, Lin Yuan murmured to himself in disbelief, what on earth is going on? Ding, the God level selection system has been activated. Every time the host makes a choice, he will receive corresponding rewards. 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Firearms training room. Although this is the era of source energy, a prosperous age of martial arts where the strong are respected, firearms, as extremely lethal weapons, have not been eliminated by the times. Instead, they are still making progress and are even combined with source energy. Explode stronger power. Although it was free training, Lin Yuan was a little absent-minded. He spent most of the afternoon thinking about the so-called God-level selection system. Although he didn't want to believe it, his mental strength had actually improved. Could it be that I was really hit by a pie falling from the sky? Just as Lin Yuan was deep in thought, a tall figure stopped in front of him and cast a shadow. Young boy from class 7, was it you who beat up Zhonghu a few days ago? Lin Yuan raised his head, frowned, and said, it's just a discussion. It's just a discussion, the person in front of me asked displeased Ly. Then do you know that he is my brother Zhang Bao? So what if it's your brother? Lin Yuan sneered. I can fight if I want to, why do I have to choose a good day? Lin Yuan naturally knew the person in front of him. The famous rich second generation of class 3, Zhang Bao. This guy has good martial arts skills and a very prominent family background, so he is usually domineering and can be regarded as the best in the school. And the reason why he came to Lin Yuan was because his younger brother Zhang, who used words to belittle Lin Yuan's deskmate some time ago, and was directly beaten by Lin Yuan with a black nose and a swollen face. Something happened to Zhang Hu. As the eldest brother, Zhang Bao naturally had to help his brother get his place back. You can hit anyone if you want. Zhang Bao laughed angrily. Since you like to spar so much, then I'll spar with you. Lin Yuan frowned slightly. What, you recognize the bear? Zhang Bao grinned and sneered. It's okay if you're afraid. Kneel down, kowtow 3 times in front of everyone, shout, Grandpa Bao, I was wrong, and I will let you go. Lin Yuan laughed. How do you want to compare? Zhang Bao saw Lin Yuan put on the trap, with a smile on his face, and pointed at the training target next to him. It's simple, just play with firearms and compete in target shooting. Bet 5,000 credits. If you win, I'll give it to you. If you lose, just kneel down. Just when Zhang Bao finished speaking, an option appeared in front of Lin Yuan again. Choice 1. Accept Zhang Bao's challenge and be rewarded with the Firearm Mastery skill book. Option 2. Kneel down and beg for mercy, beg the other party to let you go, and be rewarded with a bottle of AD calcium milk. Lin Yuan, what kind of cheating system is this? There is even a god-level option like kneeling down and begging for mercy. However, just when Lin Yuan was about to agree, a voice suddenly rang in his ears. Lin Yuan, don't compare with him. A pretty girl spoke with an anxious face, and finally added softly in Lin Yuan's ear, this guy's firearm skills are among the best in the entire grade, and his target average is above the 9th ring. The pretty girl in front of me is Lin Yuan's classmate Chu Yu. She is wearing a pure white short t-shirt. She has a tall figure and a slender waist. The tight denim shorts on her lower body are set off by a pair of hot long legs, which are white and tender. Her skin is as translucent as peerless jade. Speaking of which, Chu Yu can be considered one of the school beauties of Junhai High School. It's no wonder that Zhang Hu got interested in her and used frivolous words to tease her in public. That's it. Lin Yuan nodded, then turned to Zhang Bao. I accept your challenge, get ready to start. Ding, congratulations to the host for making the choice, you will be rewarded with the skill book, Firearm Mastery. As the system prompt sounded, a dark red skill book appeared in front of Lin Yuan out of thin air, and then turned into several streams of light and integrated into his body. It seems that neither Chu Yu nor Zhang Bao noticed this strange phenomenon. Then I'll start first. Zhang laughed wildly, stepped forward, and expertly assembled an energy pistol from the parts. The whole process took no more than 10 seconds. Then, Zhang Bao raised his energy pistol, fixed the point, aimed, and fired, all in one movement like clouds and flowing water. Bang, bang, bang. The dull gunshots were heard one after another. In less than a minute, Zhang Bao had already exhausted all the bullets in a magazine. Student Zhang Bao, 10 gun scores, 94 rings. Tisk, it seems that my hand feels pretty good today. Zhang Bao raised his head and glanced at Lin Yuan triumphantly. You know, in the entire 3rd year of Junhai High School, there were only a handful of people who could play with guns to the extent that he did. In his opinion, Lin Yuan had no chance at all. Beside Lin Yuan, Chu Yu said angrily, Lin Yuan, why don't you listen to me? I listened. Lin Yuan shrugged innocently. Chu Yu's beautiful eyes flickered, looking like an angry little female cat. You still accept the challenge after hearing this? Zhang Bao on the side walked over with a gloomy face. Boy, do you want to regret it? Repent. Lin Yuan smiled. You'd better prepare the 5,000 credits first. Credit points are considered hard currency in Tianai High School and can be exchanged for a lot of practice resources. An ordinary student may not be able to accumulate 5,000 credits in one semester. After saying these words, Lin Yuan stepped forward and slowly began to assemble the firearms in front of him. Zhang Bao glanced at him with disdain, stretched out his hand and handed over the energy pistol in his hand. Trash is trash, it takes so long to assemble a gun, don't waste time, just use mine. Lin Yuan smiled and took the energy pistol handed over by Zhang Bao. Then with a flick of his wrist, the gun in his hand instantly fell into countless parts. Use your gun, I'm afraid I'll get my hands dirty. After completing these actions, Lin Yuan turned around and continued to slowly assemble the firearm in his hand. Zhang Bao on the side didn't even have time to react, and was directly shocked by Lin Yuan's dismantling of the gun. This guy. How could he do it so fast? Click. While Zhang Bao was still shocked, Lin Yuan had already filled the last energy bullet into the gun chamber. What Zhang Bao didn't expect was that Lin Yuan directly raised the energy pistol in his hand. He didn't even check whether the accuracy was aligned with the bullseye, and directly pulled the trigger in his hand. This idiot. In this case, it would be good to not miss the target. What shocked Zhang Bao even more was that Lin Yuan had no intention of stopping at all, he directly chose to fire continuously. Although the energy pistol can fire continuously, if the gun pressure is unstable, the accuracy will be greatly affected. Even Zhang Bao couldn't match such a dazzling skill, so he naturally didn't believe that Lin Yuan could perform it so easily. Ha 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 ha. After the 10 energy bullets were fired, Zhang Bao immediately burst out laughing. Boy, you are so stupid and you still want to beat me. Don't you know that firearms have recoil? Or do you think you are Chu Lin, the little gun king? Chulin, the young gun king, is also a well-known genius of Junhai High School. He is an expert in pistol combat and has already been admitted to Yenching University in advance. Seeing that Lin Yuan did not retort, Zhang Bao suddenly became more energetic and said with an arrogant look, "Boy, kneel down. Just call Grandpa Zhang Bao and let this matter be settled." At this moment, a mechanical synthesized sound came from the direction of the target. Student Lin Yuan, 10 ring score, 99. After hearing Lin Yuan's score, Zhang Bao's eyes widened in disbelief, as if someone had strangled his neck, and he choked back the second half of his sentence. Brother Zhang is indeed right. The recoil of this gun is indeed not small. At the last critical moment, my hand shook, but only 9 rings came out. Lin Yuan patted Zhang Bao on the shoulder, with a look of regret on his face. Chu Yu on the side was dumbfounded. This guy Lin Yuan, when did he become so fierce? Impossible. Zhang Bao's face changed drastically, and he looked at Lin Yuan in disbelief. You can't possibly have this kind of technology. You are covered. You are definitely covered. Do you think I'm deceived? Lin Yuan chuckled, picked up the energy pistol again, and began to fill the bullets one after another. Then, Lin Yuan suddenly raised his hand again, his wrist shook wildly, and once again started to shoot towards the target in front of him, firing in rapid succession. Boom! With the final gunshot, the mechanical synthesized sound rang in everyone's ears again. Student Lin Yuan, 10 ring score, 67. After hearing this score, Zhang Bao's expression suddenly became wonderful, and he laughed loudly. Boy, I knew you were just lucky. It turns out that this is your true destiny. Is it good? It really makes people laugh out loud. Before Zhang Bao could finish speaking, Lin Yuan interrupted him with a sneer. You'd better take a good look before you speak, stupid dog. Zhang Bao frowned, grabbed the telescope on the table, and looked at the target in front of him. With just one glance, Zhang Bao felt as if he had been struck by lightning. Because of the bullet holes made by Lin Yuan, 2 English letters were neatly arranged on the gun target in front of him, S and B. For a moment, Zhang Bao clenched his fists angrily, but his face was as pale as paper. How is it possible? How is this possible? Lin Yuan used his superb skills to hit him hard in the face, proving that the firearm skills between the two of them were not at the same level at all. What Zhang Bao didn't know was that after Lin Yuan mastered the skill firearm mastery, any firearm in his hands was like an extension of his body, and he could naturally do whatever he wanted. I'm willing to admit defeat. Remember to put the credits into my card later. Lin Yuan hugged Chu Yu's shoulders and said lazily, it's time to go. The latter's pretty face turned red, but he did not resist Lin Yuan's actions. After all, Lin Yuan got into trouble just to help her out. Stop. Before Lin Yuan could go far, Zhang Bao called out to him again, let's have another bet. How do you want to bet? Tomorrow at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I will fight you on the martial arts stage. Zhang Bao looked gloomy and said through gritted teeth. Lin Yuan turned his head and glanced at the other party lazily. Sorry, I'm not interested. Zhang Bao said word by word. This time, I bet you 20,000 credits. 20,000 credits is not a small amount. Lin Yuan thought about the upcoming martial arts exam. The 20,000 credits could just relieve his urgent need. Thinking of this, Lin Yuan turned around and showed a bright smile to Zhang Bao. Since you are rushing to give me credits, then I don't mind pressing you to the ground and rubbing you once. Are you confident that you can beat Zhang Bao? Chu Yu raised his head and looked at Lin Yuan, with a slight doubt in his beautiful eyes. She suddenly discovered that Lin Yuan, seemed to have become mysterious recently. Lin Yuan smiled and said, I have no confidence. He is already a second-level warrior, and I am only a late-stage first-level warrior. Chu Yu asked blankly, then why are you still fighting? Lin Yuan smiled and said, because people like him will never give up until they achieve their goals. Rather than letting him stumble in secret, it would be better to blow his head off directly. After hearing what Lin Yuan said, Chu Yu burst out laughing. It seems you are quite confident. If you encounter any trouble, just come to me and I will help you sort it out. Chu Yu patted his towering chest and said in a pretentious manner. To a certain extent, this girl's figure is really hot enough. Just after Lin Yuan had this idea, another option appeared in front of him. Option 1. Kiss Chu Yu forcefully, and you will be rewarded with a pair of Magatama Sharingan eyes and a mental power of 300 Hz. Option 2. Send a good guy card to the opponent, which will reward you with 500 health points. Note, if you do not make any choice, it will be regarded as giving up, and the host's vitality, blood, and spirit will be forced to return to zero and become a vegetative state. This is crazy. Lin Yuan almost couldn't help but curse. He felt that sooner or later he would be killed by this broken system. Chu Yu was startled. What's wrong with you? Lin Yuan took a deep breath and looked into Chu Yu's eyes affectionately. You are such a good person. Chu Yu. Ding. Congratulations to the host for completing the choice. You will be rewarded with 500 qi and blood points. For a moment, Lin Yuan felt that the energy and blood in his body were rushing like a surging river, and he successfully broke through the second level. Even Lin Yuan himself felt a little bit dumbfounded. He just gave Chu Yu a good guy card, but he broke through the situation so smoothly. However, this is okay. After breaking through to the second-level warrior, Lin Yuan is more confident about facing Zhang Bao tomorrow. After saying goodbye to Lin Yuan, Chu Yu went directly around to the other side of the school gate and got into a black car. Uncle Feng, I told you not to come pick me up. Chu Yu curled up her slender legs and leaned on the back of the chair, and spoke lazily. Uncle Feng in the front seat chuckled softly, Miss, I really don't worry about your safety. The master of the house sent you here just to ensure your safety. This old slave will definitely not dare to neglect his duty. Chu Yu waved his hand. Okay, I don't mean to blame you. Thank you for your understanding, miss. Uncle Feng paused for a moment, and then said again, in the Magic City, all the forces that are enemies of the Chu family have been wiped out by the family head. If nothing else happens, after the martial arts exam is over, you will be directly arranged to enter the Magic City Martial Arts University. Chu Yu's eyes lit up instantly. That's really great. Since she was arranged to come here, it has been a long time since she was reunited with her family. But, Modu Wuda, Chu Yu's eyes couldn't help but flicker. Can Lin Yuan be admitted to Wuhan University in Shanghai? Chu Yu thought about Lin Yuan's actions today again. His pretty face couldn't help but blush, and he quickly rubbed his cheeks with his hands. That idiot, shouldn't he have realized that he likes him? Outside the window, the moon and stars are sparse. Lin Yuan leaned on the head of the bed, frowning slightly. He did not expect that he would somehow possess the system. However, Lin Yuan still doesn't quite understand what the triggering mechanism of this god-level selection system is. When the teacher asked a question, the selection was triggered. When Zhang Bao challenged him for the first time, he chose to trigger it. Even when facing Tang Yu, the choice was triggered. However, just relying on these few choices, Lin Yuan has not been able to deduce any rules. So he could only temporarily believe that the selection was completely random. By the way, there's this. Lin Yuan directly took out a pair of boxing gloves from his arms. These were the Thunder King gloves that the system had previously rewarded him. The texture was somewhat similar to leather, but it had a metallic luster. Even above the gloves, they were haunted by a faint azure thunder. Lin Yuan could feel that these gloves were definitely not ordinary things. It is more than enough to deal with Zhang Bao. The second day, the news that Lin Yuan was going to duel with Zhang Bao quickly spread like wildfire in Junhai High School. By 5 o'clock in the afternoon, many students had gathered at the martial arts platform that Zhang Bao and Lin Yuan had agreed to watch. Lin Yuan, here. Several tens of meters apart, Chu Yu excitedly waved his hand to Lin Yuan. Chu Yu was dressed very simply today, a black sports bra and light blue denim shorts, which highlighted her slender waist and long legs, making her extremely hot. Even Lin Yuan found it amazing that a girl with a soft personality like Chu Yu could have a devilish figure like a royal sister. Lin Yuan walked over slowly, smiled and said, "Why are you here? I thought you had gone back a long time ago." Chu Yu's chestnut curly hair made her look extremely lazy, like a kitten that had just woken up. "How is it possible? I want to see someone fulfill their promise with my own eyes." Lin Yuan smiled and asked, "What promise?" "Of course I'll blow up Zhang Bao's dog's head." Chu Yu pumped his fist excitedly, and even if he swore swear words, he still looked extremely charming and not annoying at all. "No problem." Lin Yuan smiled calmly, turned around and walked towards the martial arts platform. Everyone watching the battle moved out of the way, allowing Lin Yuan to board the martial arts platform smoothly. "Boy, are you ready to die?" Zhang Bao had been waiting for him on the stage for a long time. The knuckles of his hands were cracking together, and his face showed a bit of ferocity. However, Lin Yuan raised his eyes and said lazily, "How dare a dog with a broken spine bark in front of me?" Veins popped up on Zhang Bao's forehead, and he growled, "Yesterday I just let you win a round by chance. I'm going to tear apart all the bones in your body to see if you still dare to be so crazy in front of me." As soon as he finished speaking, Zhang Bao's figure suddenly rose up, like a cannonball, and shot towards Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan's eyes narrowed, the energy and blood all over his body surged to the extreme, and he chose to face Zhang Bao's offensive head-on without hesitation. "What's going on? Lin Yuan defeated Zhang Bao once before. TCH, are you ignorant now? Yesterday, during the firearms training, Lin Yuan pressed the gun without stopping, and achieved a score of 99 rounds in 10 rounds, instantly killing Zhang Blast. Is it true or not? Chu Lin, the little gun king, may not be that powerful, right?" "Of course it's true. I heard that Lin Yuan used bullet holes in the end to carve the letters S and B on the gun target, which severely humiliated Zhang Bao. He's really cruel. If I were Zhang Bao, I would fight to the death with this guy. But Zhang Bao is a second-level warrior. I heard that Lin Yuan hasn't reached the second level yet, right? Who knows where this guy got the confidence to take on the challenge?" There was a lot of discussion around the martial arts platform. Listening to the doubts of the people around him, Chu Yu's expression did not waver at all. "Because she believed in Lin Yuan. Since he said it, then I believe he can do it. It's just." Chu Yu turned his gaze to the right. A young man with black hair and a cold face was calmly watching the battle on the martial arts stage with extremely indifferent eyes. Blood Shadow, Yi Wushou. Junhai High School, 10th on the Tian list. Those who can make it to the top of the list are all martial arts talents from Junhai High School, and are fully qualified to be admitted to major prestigious schools in advance. If Chu Yu remembers correctly, the black-haired young man in front of him has at least the strength of a second-level warrior at the peak. Moreover, this guy was most likely brought over by Zhang Bao to suppress the formation. Thinking of this, Chu Yu's eyes couldn't help but become colder, and then he directly took out his mobile phone and sent a text message. "Uncle Feng, help me keep an eye on the black-haired boy on my right, don't let him have a chance to take action." Soon, Uncle Feng replied, "Miss, this is your school. If I take action, it might be inappropriate." However, Chu Yu said firmly, "Do as I say." On the martial arts stage, Zhang Bao had already fought with Lin Yuan for more than 10 moves. The former became more frightened as he fought, because he clearly felt that Lin Yuan's energy and blood had reached the second level. How could this guy improve so fast? Pong! The two sides collided with their fists again, and a dull roar broke out. Lin Yuan and Zhang Bao stepped back one after another. I have to say that Lin Yuan's punch was very powerful and heavy. Even if Zhang Bao took it forcefully, he still felt a surge of energy and blood in his chest. Everyone watching was stunned. How did Lin Yuan become evenly matched with Zhang Bao with the strength of a first-order warrior? No, that's not right. Judging from his current performance, this guy's blood has definitely reached the second-level standard. Zhang Bao really got into serious trouble this time. Boy, don't think that if you break through to the second level, I can't do anything to you. Zhang Bao faced Lin Yuan and said through gritted teeth. His expression was extremely ugly. He originally wanted to defeat Lin Yuan neatly and cleanly to save some face for himself. But Zhang Bao did not expect that Lin Yuan's strength was completely beyond his expectation. Zhang Bao took a deep breath and spoke viciously again. Next, within 20 moves, I'll finish you off. 20 moves. Lin Yuan chuckled and said calmly, it won't take that long. To deal with you, one punch is enough. Zhang Bao was stunned for a moment, and then immediately sneered, defeat me with one punch. What crazy talk, are you kidding? Do you think you have some strength, and you don't know how much you weigh? Zhang Bao admitted that Lin Yuan did have some difficulties after his breakthrough. But you must know that he has entered the second level for at least half a year, and his background is extremely profound. Lin Yuan wants to defeat him with one punch. Daydreaming. However, Lin Yuan ignored his sarcasm at all. Instead, he calmly took out a pair of gloves from his arms and silently put them on his hands. Thunder King gloves. Keep your eyes open, watch carefully. Lin Yuan left a word indifferently, and his figure suddenly disappeared from where he was. His speed was astonishingly fast, and his whole body seemed to be surrounded by blue lightning. Zhang Bao wanted to taunt, but he seemed to be choked by a force of coercion. Is my punch enough to defeat you? Lin Yuan roared, stood still, and punched. His right arm seemed to be surrounded by thunder, full of explosive power. Zhang's face was like gold paper, looking at Lin Yuan's punch in disbelief. Because he found that he couldn't bear it at all, this was like a thunderous blow. Pong! Lin Yuan's punch hit Zhang Bao's chest hard. The latter's sternum was dented to a degree visible to the naked eye, and then this huge force directly carried Zhang Bao and flew out of the martial arts arena. For a time, the elegant bird was silent inside and outside the martial arts stage. Real or fake, Zhang Bao was defeated so easily. No one could believe that Lin Yuan blasted a second-level warrior with just one punch. But Chu Yu's beautiful eyes were full of brilliance. She had never doubted Lin Yuan. So when Lin Yuan said he wanted to defeat Zhang Bao, she also believed that he could do it. Miss, the little guy over there seems to want to take action. Do you need me to suppress him in advance? Lao Feng's voice suddenly sounded behind Chu Yu. Chu Yu frowned and looked at Yi Wushou, who was watching the battle. Blood Shadow, Yi Wushou, a second-level peak warrior. Lin Yuan shouldn't like others meddling in his affairs, right? But this guy, can he really handle it? After pondering for a moment, Chu Yu said calmly, there is no need to take action now, but if he dares to murder brother Lin Yuan, just kill him for me. Lao Feng nodded slightly. Old slave, I understand. Just after Lin Yuan defeated Zhang Bao and won the victory, Yi Wushou frowned and walked up to the martial arts stage step by step. It's just a competition, why put people to death? Lin Yuan raised his eyebrows and looked at the person coming. Who are you? Yi Wushou. The black-haired young man opposite spoke softly and introduced himself. As soon as he finished speaking, there was a commotion in the martial arts arena. Obviously looking at the entire Junhai High School, Yi Wushou's title as the 10th person on the heavenly ranking is quite resounding. However, after he introduced himself, Lin Yuan gently shook his head. No, I think you haven't understood what I mean. What I want to say is, what are you? The reason why Lin Yuan was so arrogant was because the selection panel appeared in front of him again. Choice 1. Suffer the anger and be rewarded with 500 chi and blood points and a marrow cleansing pill. Option 2. Take the initiative to provoke, reward 500 health points, and the skill card, Buddha's Wrath Lotus. With Lin Yuan's personality, it is naturally impossible for him to choose to swallow his anger. So, he used the most forceful way to directly provoke Yi Wushou face to face. Everyone watching in the martial arts stage took a breath of cold air. Crazy. This guy must be crazy. How dare you provoke Yi Wushou like this? Did you know that he is a notoriously violent person in Junhai High School? Facing Lin Yuan's provocation, Yi Wushou's face gradually turned ugly. Are you talking to me? Lin Yuan showed no fear. Could it be that I'm talking to a dog? Good, very good. Yi Wushou laughed angrily. Do you think Zhang Bao and I are the same thing? Since you are so courageous, be prepared to pay the price. He was originally invited by Zhang Bao to suppress the formation, but this guy was too useless and was defeated by Lin Yuan with one punch. He didn't even have a chance to take action. What made Yi Wushou even more annoyed was that Lin Yuan was so ignorant of praise and even humiliated himself. In this case, there is nothing more to say. We are all warriors, so let's see the real chapter under our fists. Boom! Yi Wushou punched out, his energy and blood surged, and he punched suddenly. Lin Yuan decisively raised his arm to block, barely blocking the opponent's powerful and heavy blow. I have to say that the Thunder King gloves awarded by the system are extremely tough and can take away a lot of the opponent's strength. However, the energy and blood that a second-level peak warrior can burst out is extremely astonishing. Even with a buffer, Lin Yuan still feels as if his wrist is about to break. What? Do you regret provoking me with your words? Yi Wushou sneered and punched Lin Yuan in the chest again. At this moment, Lin Yuan has already received the reward issued by the system after completing the selection. 500 points of vitality and blood, and a Buddha's Furious Fire Lotus skill card. After receiving the system reward, Lin Yuan's own energy and blood have reached 2,846 points, and his strength has reached a new level. However, Yi Wushou is a second-level peak warrior, and his own energy and blood are at least 4,000 points or more. So, just relying on Lin Yuan's current strength, there is no way he can match the opponent. Fortunately, he still has the skill card just rewarded by the God-level selection system in his hand. Skill card: Buddha's Furious Lotus. Category: Disposable Skill Card. Introduction. This skill originates from the world of Fights Break the Sky, and was created by Xiao Yan, the Fire Emperor. It is a unique fighting skill that can produce huge destructive power after the fusion of multiple flames. The power of the Fire Lotus changes with the fusion. The types of flames vary with their strength, and the potential is endless. Even after reading the introduction of this skill card, Lin Yuan still felt confused. What fight breaks the sky? What is Yan Emperor Xiao Yan? However, the only information he can learn is this Buddha's Wrath Fire Lotus, which is extremely destructive. In this case, then let's give it a good test on Yi Wushou's body. Just when Yi Wushou's punch came in front of him, the energy and blood all over Lin Yuan's body also exploded, and his right fist, lingering in the light of thunder, faced the opponent head-on. Punch to punch. Boom. Just when the two sides' attacks were intertwined, Lin Yuan's body was ejected away, while Yi Wushou's body remained as motionless as a rock. The strength gap between the two sides can be seen from this. Zhang Beo's move, which could kill instantly with one punch, looked so unbearable in front of Yi Wushou. It seems that no one cares about my evil reputation as a blood shadow anymore. Even a nobody like you dares to provoke me. The last person who provoked me broke 4 ribs and is still lying in the Municipal People's Hospital. How about you give it a try? An extremely ferocious smile appeared on Yi Wushou's face, and the power of qi and blood covered his body like a blood shadow. He wants to completely defeat Lin Yuan as a warning to others. Many students in the audience stared straight-eyed. It's too strong. If he takes part in a martial arts test with this strength, I'm afraid not many people will be his opponents, right? Tisk, if you have such strength, you can choose from Yanjing Wuhan University or Shanghai Wudu University. You can go to any university you want. Don't worry, Yi Wushou is serious about it. Lin Yuan will be completely crushed now. This is the golden age of martial arts. The second generation of rich people and the second generation of officials are all worth mentioning. Only strength can gain the respect of everyone. Within the crowd, a hint of murderous intent flashed across Chu Yu's pretty face, and she said coldly, "Uncle Feng, do it." However, Mr. Feng said softly, "Miss, wait a moment. That boy seems to have some backup plans." After the blood shadow covered his whole body, even Yi Wushou's eyes turned scarlet, looking violent and ferocious. What Lin Yuan did was just stand there and calmly use the skill card rewarded by the system, Buddha's Furious Lotus. The next second, a purple animal fire rose above Lin Yuan's left hand, looking wild and restless. But in the palm of his right hand, another cluster of green fire rose, originating from the green lotus earth core fire in the center of the earth. The two flames were so small and weak, like candles in the strong wind, that they might be extinguished at any time. However, Lin Yuan could feel how violent the energy contained in these two clusters of flames was. At this moment, Yi Wushou was attacking and killing him brazenly. His momentum was astonishing, like a violent beast. Are you ready to die? Lin Yuan raised his head slightly and showed a bright smile. Then, he faced each other with his palms and slapped it down hard. Accompanied by bursts of thunder-like noises, the two flames in Lin Yuan's hand officially merged into one, forming a dazzlingly beautiful green-purple fire lotus. The Buddha is angry. Fire lotus. After the Buddha's angry lotus took shape, even Yi Wushou felt a destructive energy wave. Yi Wushou froze, his face filled with disbelief. Boom. A thunderous bang resounded on the martial arts stage, making everyone present feel trembling with fear. This seemingly small fire lotus can actually burst out such terrifying energy. Before Yi Wushou even touched the corner of Lin Yuan's clothes, he was directly blown away by the Buddha's angry fire lotus. After a long time, Yi Wushou's figure fell heavily to the ground. His body was covered in blood and flesh, as if he had been run over 10 times by a heavy truck. At this time, Yi Wushou, let alone continue to fight, whether he can stand up is probably a problem. Holy shit, what's going on? Lin Yuan has mastered the source energy martial arts. This power is too scary. Oh my god, this guy has awakened his powers, right? Everyone who was still criticizing Lin Yuan before was completely shocked by the strength he showed. With just one move, Yi Wushou was seriously injured. Junhai High School, when did such a ruthless person appear? Even Chu Yu's face flashed a hint of shock. Mr. Feng laughed softly from the side. Miss, your sweetheart seems not as simple as he appears. At Mr. Feng's age, he can naturally see through my young lady's thoughts. It's just that it's not his turn to worry about the young lady's important matters. Such as he was shocked, Chu Yu didn't even pay much attention to Mr. Feng's teasing. Instead, he murmured softly to himself, when did brother Lin Yuan become so strong? On the martial arts stage, Lin Yuan didn't care at all about the shock in the hearts of the spectators. He walked forward step by step, and finally stopped in front of Yi Wushou. The latter was still spitting out blood, but still had some consciousness, and said with great difficulty, "You." Before Yi Wushou could speak, Lin Yuan interrupted him, "Brother Yi, in fact, there is no deep hatred between us. There is no need to fight to the death as soon as we meet." Hearing what Lin Yuan said, a hint of joy suddenly flashed across Yi Wushou's face. Judging from Lin Yuan's words, is he ready to let himself go? Then, Lin Yuan continued to say slowly, "Actually, I am quite reasonable. By the way, you seem to have said you wanted to cut off my arm just now, right? Oh, brother Yi, you don't need to do this kind of trivial thing yourself, it's just an arm." Lin Yuan raised his right leg, his energy and blood suddenly burst out, and he suddenly stepped Yi Wushou's right arm. Click, there was only a crisp sound, and Yi Wushou's right arm was directly stepped on and broken by him. Suffering from such severe pain, cold sweat broke out on Yi Wushou's forehead, and he couldn't help but let out a shrill wail. Tisk, 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 it doesn't look very symmetrical, otherwise. I'll break off the left arm for you, too. Look, I'm actually very kind. After all, I'm not a devil. With a slight smile on his face, Lin Yuan raised his right leg again and began to make gestures on Yi Wushou's left arm. The latter was so angry and frightened that he let out a muffled groan and passed out. Have you fainted now? It's really boring. Lin Yuan sneered, turned over and jumped off the martial arts platform, and walked to Chu Yu's side. At this moment, Mr. Feng beside Chu Yu had already disappeared from the spot. Lin Yuan looked around. Are you alone? Chu Yu said pitifully. Yes, because I want to watch you duel, I didn't let anyone pick me up today. You girl, stop pretending to be pitiful. Lin Yuan stretched out his hand and flicked Chu Yu's smooth forehead. Let's go, I'll take you home. Subsequently, Chu Yu quietly showed a smile that showed his scheming was successful, and happily followed Lin Yuan's pace, not forgetting to make a face at Mr. Feng who was hiding behind the willow tree. The latter shook his head slightly and sighed helplessly. This is really, women are not allowed to stay in college. After returning home, Lin Yuan went directly back to his room. To be honest, even he himself did not expect that this so-called Buddha's angry fire lotus could burst out with such terrifying power. System, what kind of martial skill is this Buddha's angry fire lotus, and why is its power so terrifying? Originally, Lin Yuan just asked casually, but unexpectedly the system actually gave the answer. The host uses only the weakest Buddha's Wrath Fire Lotus. On top of this, there are also the 3-color Fire Lotus and the Destruction Fire Lotus. Buddha's Angry Emperor's Fire Lotus and other moves are enough to break mountains, split rivers, and destroy heaven and earth. Furthermore, even Buddha's Angry Fire Lotus is not the strongest move in the God-level selection system. As long as the host keeps making choices, the rewards given by the system will become more and more generous. Lin Yuan nodded, a hint of excitement flashing in his eyes uncontrollably. He did not expect that the God-level selection system he got would be so powerful. It seemed that he had really found a treasure. Subsequently, Lin Yuan leaned lazily on the bedside and started scrolling through his cell phone. Just as he expected, Junhai High School's school forum has completely exploded. Dozens of posts about Lin Yuan directly occupied the homepage of the forum. Open double-angle bracket humanoid Tyrannosaurus. The unknown soldier's thunder fist broke through Zhang's explosion, and the Fire Lotus suppressed Yi Wushou. Close double-angle bracket. Open double-angle bracket 10th on the heavenly ranking, defeated in one move. When we arrived at the scene, there was only one basketball left on the ground. Open double-angle bracket Devil comes to the world, terrifying flame martial arts. Yi Wushou was abused, and the position of the 10th person on the heavenly ranking changed hands. Close double-angle bracket. Shock. The opponent who tormented Yi Wushou was actually the husband of His Highness Chao Beluo. Close double-angle bracket. Comma. Lin Yuan casually glanced at the posts on the forum homepage, and the veins on his forehead were beating wildly. What the hell, you are the husband of His Highness Chao Beluo. Your whole family is the husband of His Highness Chao Beluo. Too vicious. I have to say that these people are very good at coming up with headlines to catch people's attention. They might as well all go to work in the UC Shock department tomorrow. However, it must be said that thanks to Lin Yuan, these posts are all extremely popular. After all, among the two people who were defeated by Lin Yuan, Zhang Bao was somewhat famous, and Yi Wushou, the Blood Shadow, was considered to be the top martial artist in Junhai High School. So, after Lin Yuan defeated two people in succession, it was natural that he caused a storm in the school. After thinking for a moment, Lin Yuan directly turned to the most popular post and clicked on it. Since this post also comes with a battle video, it has become very popular and has hundreds of replies. Who is Lin Yuan? Why don't I have any impression of him? Don't listen to the nonsense upstairs. It is said that he is a ruthless man who pretends to be a pig and eats the tiger. He was unknown before, but he beat Yi Wushou to half a disability as soon as he took action. Yes, it seems that one of Yi Wushou's arms was broken by trampling on it. It was really murderous and cruel. Cruelty is cruelty, but the rules at martial arts terrace are like this. Unless you beat someone to death directly on the spot, you don't need to take any responsibility at all. Let me tell you, Yi Wushou brought it upon himself. If he hadn't wanted to stand up for Zhang Baoqiang, he wouldn't have been beaten so badly. Lin Yuan read through the replies one by one, and almost all of them were amazed at his strength. However, a special reply soon caught his attention. What Lin Yuan? He's just a person who is just trying to gain fame and reputation. I've also watched the battle video. This guy's chi and blood level is only at the second level at most. Although I don't know how he defeated Yi Wushou, letting such a person enter the Tianban of our Junhai number 3 middle school is simply a shame and is a disgrace to us Junhai people. Little Lin Yuan, if you can read this reply and have the courage, come and fight me. If you can win, I, Hong Tianding, will voluntarily hand over my 5th place on the heavenly ranking to you. But if you lose, just cut off your arm and admit it in front of the whole school, you are trash. This reply was very popular, and within just a few minutes, it was ranked among the top posts. Because Junhai High School's on-campus forums require real name authentication. The person who asked Lin Yuan to fight through his reply was indeed the 5th person on the Junhai Tianbang, Demon Rock, Hong Tianding. Speaking of this person, Lin Yuan still had some impressions. Proud, vain, fame-seeking, self-willed. Simply put, it means that he does have some talent and strength. It's a pity that I have no brain. Hong Dingtian jumped out to challenge Lin Yuan at this time, just because he wanted to take this opportunity to show his strength and increase his sense of presence. What a clown. Lin Yuan shook his head, and just when he was about to ignore Hong Dingtian's invitation to fight, 3 options popped up in front of him again. Choice 1. Choose to be patient and ignore the invitation to fight. Reward 500 points of vitality and blood, 500 points of spiritual power. Option 2. Accept the challenge and slap the opponent 10 times in front of his face as punishment, and be rewarded with 2000 points of vitality and blood, and 1000 kilohertz of mental power. Choice 3. Accept the fight and beat Hong Dingtian to his knees and beg for mercy. The reward is 2000 points of vitality and blood, 1000 kilohertz of mental power, and a pair of 3 Magatama Sharingan eyes. After the host makes a choice, all rewards will be automatically released in advance. If the host fails to complete the selection requirements, all rewards will be automatically withdrawn and corresponding penalties will be imposed. After the choice appeared, even Lin Yuan was slightly stunned. Sigh, I also want to be low-key. It's a pity that the system does not allow it. However, it doesn't seem appropriate to always let yourself make the choice, right? Thinking of this, Lin Yuan directly opened Hong Tianding's reply and replied below, I accept your challenge. See you at the martial arts stage at 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. By the way, do you think it's better to be slapped 10 times by me in public, or to kneel down and beg for mercy in front of me? After Lin Yuan said these words, all the melon eaters who followed the post were shocked. Oh my god. This Lin Yuan, is he so crazy? Has anyone ever humiliated someone in person like this? After seeing Lin Yuan's reply, Hong Tianding's face turned red, like a furious beast. He immediately replied, do you really think that no one can deal with you? Lin Yuan, if you dare not come at 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, I will crush all the bones in your body. Looking at Hong Ding's anxious reply, Lin Yuan touched his nose helplessly. Who is this? I kindly asked him to make his own choice, but the other party took it as a mockery. After pondering for a moment, Lin Yuan suddenly said, System, can I make 2 choices at the same time? For example, I slap Hong Dingtian 10 times, and then make him kneel down and beg for mercy. In this case, can I get 2 rewards at the same time? Divine level selection system. Are you the devil? Theoretically, it should be possible. After more than 10 seconds of silence, the system finally gave a difficult reply. Lin Yuan looked relaxed and at ease. Hey, if you had told me earlier, wouldn't it have been the end of the relationship? Fortunately, I'm still thinking about how to make a choice. Only children make choices, adults want them all. God level selection system. I apply to change the host now, is it still too late? After Lin Yuan made his choice, the rewards were also distributed. Qi and blood, 4000 points. Psychic power, 2000 HZ. For a moment, Lin Yuan felt the energy and blood in his body surge and boil, like an erupting volcano, breaking through the original shackles in one fell swoop. This level of improvement in Qi and blood made Lin Yuan feel extremely happy and comfortable. At the same time, mental power is also constantly expanding. The most intuitive manifestation is that Lin Yuan's senses have become sharper as his mental power increases. After receiving the double improvement of Qi, blood and mental strength, Lin Yuan's own attributes have undergone earth-shaking changes. With Lin Yuan's thought, his personal attribute panel appeared in front of him again. Host. Lin Yuan. Level. Early stage of 3rd level. Qi and blood. 6,846 points. Mental power. 3,788 Hz. Power. None. Comprehensive evaluation. Weak and weak. Lin Yuan. The system that is so good, is so weak that it's too weak. No matter what, my current energy and blood have successfully broken through to the realm of a 3rd level warrior. Although he is still slightly weak at the level of mental power, he is a warrior after all, and not a special profession like a spiritual power user. Therefore, with a mental power of nearly 3,800 Hz, for Lin Yuan, it's more than enough. It is no exaggeration to say that after his Qi and blood have been significantly improved, Lin Yuan can easily defeat Yi Wuxia without resorting to the power of Buddha's Wrath Fire Lotus. After all, for warriors, the gap between levels is equivalent to an insurmountable gap. The Qi and blood are between 0 and 1000 points, which belongs to the category of ordinary people and is not included in the category of warriors. The lowest level of first-level warriors usually have chi and blood around 1,000–2,000 points. Second-level warriors have stronger vitality and blood. Only when your chi and blood reach the level of 2,000–5,000 points can you be called a second-level warrior. As for third-level warriors, they need to break through the 5,000 point blood mark. The chi and blood are between 5,000 and 10,000 points, all belonging to the category of third-level warriors. Going further up, except for some martial arts darlings, almost few people can break through to the realm of fourth-level warriors before the age of 20. Because level 4 is a small threshold, only when the chi and blood exceed 10,000 and a qualitative change is achieved, can one officially enter the threshold of a fourth-level warrior. As for how the martial arts realm is divided further up, Lin Yuan has not yet been exposed to it, so naturally he does not know. The second day, 4:30 in the afternoon. Logically speaking, at this point on weekdays, everyone should be ready to go home, or go to the training center to practice together. After all, there are only the last 2 months left before the martial arts exam. The martial arts test is a major event that determines the destiny of life. Everyone is working hard to get the best result in the martial arts exam. However, what is particularly unusual today is that only a few people chose to leave the classroom. Other students all stayed in the classroom without hesitation, and kept glancing secretly at Lin Yuan. Not only that, even outside the entrance of the class, a group of onlookers gathered to watch the fun. After all, Hong Dingtian's reputation is more than a little bit greater than Zhang Beilai's. Lin Yuan is another evil figure that has caused heated discussions recently. These two people are for tat, no wonder so many people want to watch. I said you were really capable of causing trouble. First, it was brothers Zhang Hu and Zhang Bao, then Yi Wushou, and now you have even provoked Hong Dingtian. Chu Yu was chattering on the side, with a hint of helplessness on his face. Lin Yuan smiled and shook his head. I can't help it. Maybe my physique is special. Someone will always come up to me and ask me to hit him. I'll feel bad if I don't do it. After finishing speaking, Lin Yuan stood up directly, put on his school bag, and strode towards the door. As soon as he left the class gate, a sound like thunder rang directly in Lin Yuan's ears. Are you Lin Yuan? Lin Yuan raised his head and looked around, only to realize that a man who looked like an iron tower was standing in front of him. That's me, what's wrong? Lin Yuan replied lazily, not afraid of the aura exuded by the other party. Nothing, I was just wondering, with your fragile body, how many punches can you take from me, Mr. Hong? Hong Dingtian laughed strangely and cracked his knuckles. Hong Dingtian was so aggressive that the people around him also let out a few low laughs of unknown meaning. Obviously, most people present still have a more optimistic view of Hong Dingtian. Although Lu Tianjing lost to Zhang Bao and Yi Wushou in a row, it was indeed quite amazing. But no matter what, Hong Dingtian has been firmly in the 5th position on the Haitian ranking for 2 years. Yi Wushou, who can only be named at the end of the Tianban, has no comparison with him. What's more important is that Hong Dingtian successfully broke through to the realm of a third-level warrior half a year ago. That's why they believed that Lin Yuan's hope of winning was extremely slim. However, what no one expected was that Lin Yuan raised his head and said calmly, with my fragile body, I can beat you to tears for father and mother. Haha, it's just you. First, I'll give you, this ignorant boy, a lesson. Hong Dingtian smiled instead of being angry, and punched Lin Yuan directly in the face. Snapped. Before Hong Dingtian's punch could hit, Lin Yuan directly clamped his right arm, preventing him from advancing even an inch. Lin Yuan said coldly, whatever needs to be solved, go to the martial arts platform to solve it. Hong Dingtian's face twitched and he said, okay, it's just what I want. Lin Yuan let go of his right hand, and Hong Dingtian was able to withdraw his fist. On his wrist, a faint red palm print appeared. This boy's strength is indeed beyond my expectation. Although Hong Dingtian did not use all his strength in the punch just now, he still had a hint of probing. Mo Yu used 70% of his strength, but was easily caught by Lin Yuan. This was indeed it made him feel a little more vigilant. Surrounded by a large group of people, Lin Yuan and Hong Dingtian walked directly towards the martial arts platform. There, more spectators had gathered in advance and wanted to watch the battle between Lin Yuan and Hong Dingtian. Even, 2 of the top 3 on the Junhai Tianbang came here. Second on the ranking list, martial madman, Chen Ji. Third on the list, Eye of the Phantom Moon, Yun Tingting. Among them, Chen Ji is dressed in a black outfit and with his neat short hair, he looks particularly capable. Yun Tingting, on the other hand, is a little more charming. She wears a red slim-fitting martial arts uniform, which fully shows off her curvy figure. She still looks like a girl, but her eyes are as charming as silk, giving people an extremely misty sense of beauty. Obviously, these 2 people are also very interested in the showdown between Hong Dingtian and Lin Yuan. Chen Ji and Yun Tingting are both influential figures in Junhai No. 3 Middle School, and their popularity is higher than that of Hong Dingtian. So, just by standing next to the martial arts platform, these 2 people attracted the attention and heated discussion of everyone around them. However, Chu Yu was not interested in these 2 people. Especially Yun Tingting. Chu Yu doesn't like her very much. HMPH, Vixen. Chu Yu wrinkled his pretty nose and leaned slightly closer to Lin Yuan, as if to declare his sovereignty. After seeing these 2 people, Hong Dingtian's eyes also lit up, and he immediately strode forward, laughing loudly. Brother Chen, Sister Yun, you 2 are really in great spirits. You actually have time to watch the duel between me and Mr. Hong, I'm really honored. Hong Dingtian loves vain people so much, so naturally he would not miss the opportunity to get close to Chen Ji and Yun Tingting. After all, if there is a chance to make friends with these 2 people, it will be quite beneficial to Hong Dingtian in every aspect. However, what made Hong Dingtian extremely embarrassed was that these 2 people seemed to have no intention of talking to him. Because the eyes of Chen Ji and Yun Tingting all fell on the other side. Lin Yuan. Obviously, these 2 people are not here for Hong Dingtian at all. The reason why they appear here is entirely because of Lin Yuan. This feeling of being ignored made Hong Dingtian's face darken instantly. However, the strength of Chen Ji and Yun Tingting are far superior to him. Even if Hong Dingtian had resentment, he would only dare to pass it on to Lin Yuan. This guy's strength is so weak, what virtues do he have to be favored by him? But, this is fine. When I personally break all the bones in his body, everyone watching the battle will be able to understand who is the real strong one. Hong Dingtian couldn't help but feel a little carried away when he thought of this pleasant scene. I said, what are you doing standing there? Are you waiting for someone to invite you to dinner? As soon as Lin Yuan said these words, everyone present burst into laughter. Hong Dingtian frowned and looked around, only to find that Lin Yuan had already stepped onto the martial arts stage before him. The roar of laughter from all around made Hong Dingtian feel annoyed. He stepped up to the martial arts platform with a hint of anger in his voice. Boy, there is no need to try to flatter everyone here. Later, I will beat you until you are half dead, and then drag you like a dead dog around the entire playground. Let all the teachers and students in the school appreciate your heroic appearance, of Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan pondered for a moment, then raised his head and showed a bright smile. Thank you for coming up with such a good idea for me, otherwise, I really don't know what to do with you later. Hong Dingtian's face was distorted. The next moment, he roared angrily, stamped his right foot heavily on the ground, leaving a footprint directly on the martial arts platform, and rushed out like a violent bear. Since you are so sharp-tongued, I will smash your teeth to see how long you can smile. Lin Yuan's eyes moved slightly. Hong Dingtian's punch unleashed at least 6,000 calories of energy and blood. He is worthy of being ranked among the top 5 ruthless people in the Junhai Heavenly ranking. Although he has no brains, his energy and blood are extremely surging. If it were Lin Yuan from before, it is very likely that he would be seriously injured directly by this punch. However, he is no longer what he used to be. His current upper limit of health is as high as 6,800 points. Lin Yuan took one step forward, and the energy and blood in his body surged. Faced with Hong Ding's powerful punch, Lin Yuan concentrated on the palm of his hand and thrust it out. Pong! With a muffled sound, Hong Dingtian's punch was forced to stop by Lin Yuan. The latter smiled lightly. Have you not eaten? Hong Dingtian's face turned red, his left hand turned into a knife, and he slashed towards Lin Yuan at lightning speed again. However, Lin Yuan showed no fear on his face, as if he had understood Hong Dingtian's intention in advance. he immediately took action and clamped his wrist, making it impossible for the sword to make any further progress. That's all you have. Lin Yuan sneered, raised his leg and kicked Hong Dingtian's chest hard. After breaking through to the third-level warrior, Lin Yuan's power cannot be underestimated. Even though Hong Dingtian was a third-level martial artist, he was kicked 5 meters away and almost fell off the martial arts platform. The people watching immediately booed. Hong Dingtian is great at speaking harsh words, but in actual combat he is so unbearable. I really didn't expect that this little guy is actually a third-level warrior. Our Junhai number 3 middle school seems to be a crouching tiger, hidden dragon. Yun Tingting covered her mouth and smiled softly, with an indescribable charm in her movements. However, Chen Ji beside her still had a paralyzed face, and said calmly, "The prosperous age is approaching, and there must be evildoers. In this era of martial arts heyday, it is absolutely normal for a few martial arts heroes to appear." Yun Tingting played with her black hair and said softly, "So, do you think he is definitely better than the stupid big guy Hong Dingtian?" Chen Ji was silent for a while, and then shook his head. "That's not necessarily true. You and I both know exactly what Hong Dingtian's trump card is. Once he uses his trump card, even if I want to get rid of him, I'm afraid it will take some effort." Yun Tingting's beautiful eyes narrowed slightly. "That's true." While the two were talking, Lin Yuan and Hong Dingtian had already exchanged nearly 20 moves. Hong Dingtian's punches were fierce and powerful, but Lin Yuan was no less powerful. Although there was no one-sided situation between the two parties, Hong Dingtian was obviously in a situation of being suppressed. Because Lin Yuan not only has strong energy and blood, but also fully displays his combat skills when attacking. In comparison, Hong Dingtian, who only relies on physical strength and only knows how to run rampant, looks like a reckless bull. After several rounds of confrontation, Hong Dingtian could already feel the blood surge in his chest. However, Lin Yuan's face was still as calm as a lake, and he obviously still had some energy left. If you are ranked 5th on the heavenly ranking and only have this little strength, don't embarrass yourself again. Lin Yuan glanced at the other party and said calmly, "After all, the garbage has begun to be sorted now. If you show up under the name of Junhai number 3 middle school, I'm really afraid that they will think that no. 3 middle school collects all garbage." After Lin Yuan said these words, there was another round of laughter. This Lin Yuan is not only strong enough, but his ability to bully people is also top-notch. However, this time, Hong Dingtian was not angered by Lin Yuan's provocation. Instead, he patted the dust on his body and sneered at the latter. "I did underestimate you a little. I really didn't expect that an unknown person who appeared out of nowhere could have 6,000 or 7,000 calories of blood. If I'm not wrong, you should have been in the 3rd level for a while, right?" Lin Yuan did not answer, just grinned. "I said I just broke through yesterday. Do you believe it?" Hong Dingtian then continued, "However, it would be good if you could have the strength of a 3rd-level warrior. Because of this, I can better demonstrate my strength." At this point, Hong Dingtian suddenly started laughing, and a blue-gray color like a rock quickly spread around him. Everyone watching could not help but hold their breath. After being suppressed for dozens of moves, Demon Rock, Hong Dingtian finally couldn't help but take action. Hong Dingtian is not only a warrior, but also a person with supernatural powers. At the moment, what he is displaying is his superpower, Rock Transformation. After using the Rock Transformation power, Hong Dingtian can transform all the skin and even flesh on his body into rocks that are harder than granite. Looking at the strange scene that happened to Hong Dingtian in front of him, Lin Yuan's eyes also tightened. To be honest, this is also the first time he has seen a person with superpowers use superpowers. Even if martial arts has developed to its current level, people with superpowers are still a minority among the minority. Because superpowers cannot be obtained through acquired practice, they are completely an innate talent. According to an interesting experimental statistic, out of an average of 1,000 babies born, only 5 are born with special powers. That is a probability of 5 in 1,000. Among them, combat-type talents and abilities are even rarer. The reason why Hong Dingtian is able to firmly occupy the 5th position in Junhaishan ranking is half because of his own martial arts cultivation, and the other half is because of his domineering power. After Hong Dingtian turned into rock, his whole body seemed to have turned into a stone man, slamming towards Lin Yuan with overwhelming momentum. It's cruel enough. Lin Yuan's expression changed, and blood suddenly burst out from his arms, and he pushed towards Hong Dingtian like a cart. Do you think you can still stop me? Too naive. Hong Dingtian looked ferocious and laughed wildly as he bumped into me. Lin Yuan felt a huge force coming from his arms, as if what hit him was not a person at all, but a giant elephant. After being lithified, not only did Hong Dingtian's physical toughness greatly improve, but his explosive power also increased by several points. The power that Hong Dingtian is erupting now is even comparable to that of a 4th-level warrior with Wenka's chi and blood. Persons with superpowers are indeed God's favorites, possessing unique talents. Hong Dingtian pushed against Lin Yuan and pushed the latter back several meters. The next second, Hong Dingtian suddenly withdrew his strength, and suddenly took a step back. His stone fist, which was glowing with blue-gray luster, suddenly hit Lin Yuan. This guy wants to trick himself. Lin Yuan's scalp felt numb for a while. Fortunately, he reacted quickly enough, stopped his strength in time, and pulled his body back in time due to inertia. Boom! Hong Dingtian's fist landed heavily on the ground in front of Lin Yuan, creating a punch pit. If this punch had landed on Lin Yuan, I'm afraid his sternum would have been smashed directly by Hong Dingtian. This guy is really murderous. Lin Yuan's face was as dark as water. Before Hong Dingtian could withdraw his fist, he directly raised his right leg and struck the latter's right shoulder with a whip kick. However, Hong Dingtian's figure remained motionless. It's really hard. Lin Yuan frowned. His right leg felt numb, and he felt as if he had kicked a steel plate. You're so stupid. Do you really think your legs are harder than granite? Hong Dingtian laughed ferociously, stretched out his hand and grabbed Lin Yuan's right leg. If he were to catch him, his leg bones would probably be broken directly. Lin Yuan did not dare to hesitate at all, and retreated backwards, forcing a distance from the opponent. At the martial arts stage, Chen Ji and Yun Tingting looked at each other, both understanding what the other wanted to express. If this continues, Lin Yuan will never be Hong Dingtian's opponent. If Lin Yuan could still compete with Hong Dingtian before. So the latter who uses the ability is just like opening a plug-in. Don't waste your efforts, the more you struggle, the more desperate you will be. Hong Dingtian cracked his knuckles and approached Lin Yuan step by step, like a wild beast playing with its prey. Lin Yuan took a deep breath and slowly raised his eyes. Tisk, this superpower thing is really unfair. A good battle was ruined like this. However, if you can open cheats, I may not be able to. Hong Dingtian frowned. What exactly do you want to express? Lin Yuan did not speak, but answered him directly with actions. His pupils instantly turned to blood, as if scarlet blood was flowing between them. 3 jet black magatama lines began to flow between the pupils, and finally stabilized at a fixed angle. This is the reward given to Lin Yuan in advance by the God-level selection system. Sharingan. 3 magatama Sharingan. According to the introduction of the system, this is a kind of blood inheritance boundary from another world, and it is a special pupil technique. After turning it on, the user will have extremely strong dynamic vision and can even perfectly copy the opponent's movements and moves. In addition, the 3 magatama Sharingan also has functions such as insight into weaknesses, illusion hypnosis, etc. As early as the first time Lin Yuan got the 3 magatama Sharingan, he used various experiments to prove how powerful this eye technique is. It is precisely because of this that Lin Yuan is so confident. No matter how domineering Hong Dingtian's powers are, he will definitely be able to defeat him. Looking at Lin Yuan's eyes that turned into blood, Hong Dingtian felt a palpitation in his heart for no reason. What's wrong with you? Just a pair of eyes. No matter how special he is, can this kid still penetrate his own rocky skin with his eyes? Thinking of this, Hong Dingtian regained his previous momentum and snorted coldly, mysterious. Today I will let you see what it means to be earth-shattering. Just as he finished speaking, Hong Dingtian burst out with astonishing speed again, and a pair of stone fists struck in the direction of Lin Yuan like a storm. However, what Hong Dingtian doesn't know is that his current punching speed, in front of Lin Yuan who has activated the 3 magatama Sharingan. It's as slow as a tortoise. In Sharingan, Hong Dingtian's offensive was like a slow-motion replay in a movie. There are flaws all over the body. Lin Yuan tilted his head slightly and avoided Hong Dingtian's first punch. Then, his knees were slightly bent and his body suddenly lowered, barely avoiding Hong Dingtian's second punch. Let me see how you hide. After being dodged 2 consecutive blows, Hong Dingtian obviously became impatient, and his right leg swept directly towards Lin Yuan's waist, with the intention of forcibly kicking the latter's spine. However, Lin Yuan just shook his head and said softly, "It's too fast." After saying this, Lin Yuan raised his toes, like a bird pecking, and suddenly clicked on the power point at the base of Hong Dingtian's thigh. The latter's strength was cut off, his right leg went weak, and he almost knelt down in front of Lin Yuan on one knee. At this moment, Lin Yuan finally took action. He threw out a punch directly. It was just an ordinary punch with no fancy skills. The only special thing is that Lin Yuan's punch hit the third rib on Hong Dingtian's right side. A look of horror suddenly appeared on the latter's face. As he punched, Lin Yuan said softly, "If I guessed correctly, this is your life gate." Chapter 11. With a crisp sound, Hong Dingtian's third rib was violently broken by Lin Yuan's punch. Lin Yuan's right fist sank directly into his flesh. The broken ribs pierced into Hong Dingtian's internal organs. He raised his head, and his mouth was filled with blood, which even overflowed from the corners of his mouth. Hong Dingtian looked at Lin Yuan in great horror, his face full of disbelief. "How did you know this is?" "That's right, his powers are flawed. The location of the third rib on the right is where his life gate is, and it is also the weakest defense point in his body. Because his lithification ability happened to not cover that area." "But, how could Lin Yuan know? You must know that even his parents and teachers may not know this weakness." "Don't you understand yet?" Lin Yuan smiled slightly, his pair of Sharingan blood eyes looked evil. This is your power." Hong Dingtian started to feel a little awkward when he spoke. The young man in front of him made him feel a chill from the bottom of his heart. Lin Yuan did not answer his question directly, but directly chose to take action. His strike was like lightning, and he directly kicked Hong Dingtian's knee. Hong Dingtian, who had already suffered heavy losses, could no longer maintain his supernatural powers, so naturally he could not resist Lin Yuan's attack. With the former's sweeping kick, Hong Dingtian felt a sharp pain in his knees, as if his kneecaps were about to shatter. Subsequently, his body softened, he groaned, and fell to his knees forcefully on the ground. "I promised you 10 slaps in the face." Counted. There was no trace of pity on Lin Yuan's face. He is indeed a very easy-going person on weekdays, but if someone actively provokes him, that's a different matter. "I will not offend others unless they offend me. If anyone offends me, cut the grass and root it out." This is Lin Yuan's principle. Snapped. An extremely clear sound resounded in the center of the martial arts platform. Lin Yuan was not polite and directly fired his bow from left to right. Hong Dingtian's face soon swelled into a pig's head, and even his saliva dripped uncontrollably. Everyone watching the battle couldn't bear to watch. "This slap in the face feels so good. Ah, how cruel." Chen Ji rarely showed a smile. "This kid looks harmless to humans and animals, but I didn't expect him to be so cruel and ruthless." Yun Tingting shook her head and said with a smile, "Hee, it's so interesting. There is another monster in Junhai number 3 middle school." While Yun Tingting was still speaking, Chen Ji had already turned around and walked away from the crowd alone. Yun Tingting asked in surprise, "You don't want to read it?" "Well, I've seen everything I need to see, so I'd better hurry up and go back to practice. In the martial arts test, you may still be able to face this guy. If you lose then, it will be embarrassing." Crow's mouth. Yun Tingting pursed her lips and followed Chen Ji's pace. This little guy just competed with Hong Dingtian for these 2 moments, and he wants to defeat me in the martial arts test. Go ahead and dream. After 10 slaps, Lin Yuan squatted down, grabbed Hong Dingtian's hair, and said with a smile, "Look, I am not an unreasonable person. Now I'll give you 2 choices. Or, kneel on the ground and beg for mercy until I am satisfied. Or, as you said before, beat you half to death, and then drag you around our playground like a dead dog." Hong Dingtian, "You are talking nonsense." Lin Yuan glanced at him and said coldly, "My patience is limited, choose quickly." Hong Dingtian took a deep breath and looked at Lin Yuan with a determined face. The latter's heart moved slightly. Haven't you made a mistake? Is it possible that this guy is really that bloody? The next second, Hong Dingtian dragged his severely injured body and kowtowed 3 times in a row. Boom, boom, boom. Grandpa Lin, my little brother is too blind to see the truth. I am convinced that I have lost. I beg you to be noble and let me go. From now on, I will never dare to make a mistake in front of you. Hong Dingtian shrank and knelt on the ground, his forehead almost bleeding. Ding, congratulations to the host, you successfully completed the mission. The mission rewards have been distributed in advance, please pay attention to check. The corners of Lin Yuan's mouth twitched slightly. It seems that I really overestimated him. What is bloody? Does not exist at all. I have to say that Hong Dingtian was really sincere, and even the system quickly recognized his way of begging for mercy. Up until now, Lin Yuan's 2 choice tasks, slapping Hong Dingtian 10 times and forcing him to kneel down to beg for mercy, have been successfully completed. Facing such a bully and fear of the strong, Lin Yuan had no intention of continuing to tangle with him. After Lin Yuan coldly said a word, he simply turned around and walked off the martial arts platform. Go away and don't appear in front of me again. Soon, the crowd dispersed. Hong Dingtian was still kneeling on the spot, clenching his teeth, unwilling to get up or raise his head. Because he knew in his heart that after today, he would become a complete laughingstock. Of course he didn't want to beg for mercy, but there was no other way. After all, in 3 months, it will be the martial arts exam. If he was beaten to death by Lin Yuan here, he might not be able to fully recover from his injuries before the martial arts test. For the martial arts exam, Hong Dingtian must endure it. A man is a real man, able to bend and stretch. Thinking of this, Hong Dingtian couldn't help but laugh at himself. Now, he can only comfort himself with these words. Hong Dingtian stood up slowly, dragging his broken body down the martial arts platform step by step. Every time he took a step, he could feel a sharp pain in his ribs. Subsequently, Hong Dingtian's eyes gradually became extremely vicious. Lin Yuan, today's humiliation. I've written it down. After the martial arts test, I will definitely ask you to pay with your blood. Lin Yuan, when did you become so powerful? On the way out of the school, Chu Yu followed Lin Yuan and said softly, not even Hong Dingtian is your opponent. Lin Yuan smiled casually, pretending to be relaxed and said, it's just average. Of course he was deliberately avoiding Chu Yu's question. As for the God-level selection system, Lin Yuan doesn't want anyone to know about it yet. After all, even Lin Yuan himself is currently in a situation where he knows only a little about it. Seeing that Lin Yuan didn't want to say more, Chu Yu obediently changed the subject. By the way, the martial arts exam is coming soon. Is there a martial arts university you particularly want to attend? Lin Yuan was stunned for a moment, then subconsciously replied, it seems, not really. I have to say that Chu Yu's question really stumped him. Before he obtained the system, Lin Yuan's martial arts strength was not particularly outstanding. So, his previous idea was particularly simple. Whichever martial arts university you can get into, go to that martial arts university. But now, in just a few days, Lin Yuan has broken through the barriers of the 2nd-level warrior and the 3rd-level warrior one after another, and has become one of the few martial arts geniuses in Junhai No. 3 Middle School. In this case, you should really think carefully about which Wuhan University you should apply for. After Lin Yuan gave the answer, Chu Yu's beautiful eyes flickered slightly, and he asked slightly playfully, because I want to take the exam for Wuhan University in Shanghai. Lin Yuan was stunned for a moment, then smiled and said, are you hinting at me? Chu Yu curled his lips and said, no way, I'm just trying to make it clear to you. I'm afraid there's a piece of wood that won't appreciate it. Lin Yuan joked, really? You don't even appreciate the fairy's kindness. That piece of wood is really worthy. While the two of them were talking, an option inexplicably popped up in front of Lin Yuan again. Choice 1. Promise Chu Yu and accompany her to enter Wudu University in the Magic City. You will be rewarded with 300 blood points and special props, 10 memory capsules. Choice 2. Reject Chu Yu and tell her that she already has another favorite Wuhan University, and she will be rewarded with 200 Hz of mental power and special equipment, a green hat. Lin Yuan, How the can this also trigger selection? Forget everything else, what the is this green hat? Can this kind of thing be considered equipment? Lin Yuan, what's wrong with you? Looking at Lin Yuan, who looked dull in front of him, Chu Yu blinked and asked with concern on his face. No, nothing. Lin Yuan pondered for a few seconds, and then said with a smile, I just suddenly felt that the Magic City is pretty good. If my martial arts test score is high enough, I should choose to go to the Magic City Martial Arts University. Really? Chu Yu's eyes lit up instantly, as if small fireworks exploded in his heart. Girls' feelings and joy are always easy to satisfy. Seeing the scene in front of him, even Lin Yuan was slightly absent-minded. He smiled and nodded, then stretched out his finger and gently scratched the bridge of Chu Yu's nose. Just when the atmosphere was extremely harmonious, the system prompt sounded in Lin Yuan's ears at an extremely inappropriate time. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully making the choice, gaining 300 chi and blood points and 10 memory capsules. Lin Yuan, you're a cheating system. After returning home, Lin Yuan simply took a few bites of dinner, then hurried back to his room under the pretext of reviewing. Sitting in front of his desk, Lin Yuan turned his right hand, and 10 sky blue capsules appeared in his palm. Memory Capsule Special Props. Introduction to the prop. After taking it, the host's memory function can be increased tenfold within the next hour. Daily maximum dosage, 3 tablets. Memory improves tenfold. Lin Yuan looked at the memory capsule in his hand, a strange light flashing in his eyes. You should know that although the martial arts exam focuses on testing the martial arts skills of the candidates, the liberal arts scores are also very important, accounting for 35% of the total score. In other words, if you want to get into a good Wuhan university, your liberal arts scores must be passable no matter what. Thinking of this, Lin Yuan did not hesitate, took out a capsule and threw it into his mouth. The next second, an extremely strange feeling arose in Lin Yuan's heart. He looked at the book in his hand and felt an unprecedented clarity in his brain, as if the whole world had become extremely clear before his eyes. Lin Yuan took a deep breath, opened the textbook in front of him, and began to read at a glance. He flipped through page after page at an extremely fast speed. In less than 5 minutes, Lin Yuan had finished flipping through the entire book. Subsequently, Lin Yuan closed the book, closed his eyes, and began to recite to himself. Thorn dog, no attribute, a second-level alien beast, mutated from a large dog, with relatively average strength. Its back is covered with hard thorns. Its weak point is the abdomen that is not covered by thorns. When hunting, you must try to attack the weak point to attack. The red flame demonic vulture is a fire attribute, an 8th-level alien beast, ranking 5th among the eagles. The adult body of the red flame demonic vulture can generally reach 30 meters in length, and its wingspan is usually around 42 meters. Its flying speed is it can reach 3 times the speed of sound at the fastest. Red Lotus Greymon, fire attribute, 9th-level alien beast. Lin Yuan carried it for half an hour, and then stopped when his mouth was dry. After reciting it, even Lin Yuan himself was in a daze. The content he recited was exactly the same as what was in the book. The knowledge in the book seemed to be deeply imprinted in his mind. My memory has become so strong. I have only read the book once, and I read it 10 lines at a time. Could it be that? Is this the legendary photographic memory? Is this what it feels like to be a top student? Lin Yuan quickly became excited. With such a powerful memory capsule in hand, he didn't have to worry about not getting a good score in the martial arts exam. Thinking like this, Lin Yuan quickly opened another book and started reading it eagerly. The liberal arts content of the martial arts examination is divided into 5 subjects: Chinese, mathematics, history, second foreign language, xenozoology. Among them, zoology accounts for the largest proportion of points, and it is also the highlight of the annual liberal arts examination. Lin Yuan's idea is simple. 10 memory capsules, that is, 10 hours of ultimate memory time. What he has to do is to thoroughly master these 4 subjects in these 10 hours and completely evolve himself into an academic master. At that time, in front of Lin Yuan, it will not matter whether he takes the martial arts test or the literary test. In the next period of time, Lin Yuan will spend an hour every day studying. Now he finally understands why top academics are so keen on learning. This feeling of swimming in the ocean of knowledge is really addictive. However, Lin Yuan obviously underestimated the effect of memory capsules. In just 4 days, he learned all 3 years of high school knowledge. Lin Yuan is not endorsing this at all, he is simply packaging and downloading all the knowledge into his own mind. After taking the memory capsule, he became a book-turning machine without emotions. Turn a page. At a glance, I remember everything. Then turn to the next page. This kind of learning efficiency is simply incredible. After memorizing all the contents in the textbook, Lin Yuan was not idle. After all, in the martial arts test, only 80% of the score is based on the content in the textbook. The remaining 20% is completely dependent on the usual extracurricular accumulation. Especially, the course, Exotic Theology. You must know that since the outbreak of source energy, the number of monsters and mutants that have appeared on the earth can be described as countless. The strange beasts listed in books, and even the strange beasts known to humans, are just a drop in the ocean. No one knows what kind of cruel and strange beasts are hidden in every corner of the world. After all, after the explosion of source energy, human beings are no longer the only rulers on the earth. So, in the remaining 6 days, Lin Yuan would spare an hour every day to go to the school library to endorse books. He started directly from the first row of bookshelves and swept over them, accepting everyone who came. Often after an hour of memorizing, the books beside Lin Yuan can pile up into a small mountain. Even the librarian shook his head secretly when he saw Lin Yuan. This kind of reading speed is no good for reading books. Isn't this nonsense? Had it not been for a school order prohibiting administrators from expelling students, he would have really wanted to kick this flashy boy out. The weather in June is as hot as a furnace. Today is June 4th, and there are only 3 days left before the martial arts exam. The vast majority of recent martial arts candidates are feeling nervous and uneasy. You must know that the martial arts test is one of the most important turning points in their lives. Whether they can be admitted to a good martial arts university is related to their future. However, Lin Yuan now no longer has the sense of urgency he had before. After all, now he has reached an extremely high level in terms of martial arts cultivation and liberal arts level. So, for Lin Yuan, the martial arts test was just a formality. The worries of top academics all over the world are the same. Before the outbreak of Yuan Nang, top academics were worried about whether it would be better to go to Tsinghua University or Peking University. Lin Yuan is in this state now. If it weren't for the fact that he had already agreed to Chu Yu, I'm afraid he would be struggling now, whether he should go to Yanjing Wuhan University or Shanghai Wudu University. After all, Yanjing Wuhan University and Shanghai Wudu University are the 2 most prestigious martial arts universities in China today. Students, in 3 days, you will face the most important turning point in your life, which is the martial arts test. What is the martial arts test? The martial arts test is a key. It is the key to open the door to your future. In the new martial arts era, 80% of the strong martial arts masters came from Wudao, which is a martial arts university that specializes in teaching martial arts. As long as you can achieve good enough results in the martial arts examination, then no matter it is Wuhan University in Zhenhai, Wuhan University in Shanghai, or Yanjing Wuhan University in Kyoto will all open their doors for you. If you want to change your destiny, then work hard. If you want the carp to leap over the dragon's gate, then go for it and fight for it. Tell me, what should you do? The impassioned speech on the stage interrupted Lin Yuan's meditation. He raised his head and found that the principal of Zhenhai No. 3 Middle School was delivering a speech on the leadership stage, trying to arouse the enthusiasm of the students in the audience. Obviously, he did. At this point in time, all the students have hidden emotions in their hearts that are difficult to express. Work hard, sweat the last drop of sweat for the martial arts exam. Everyone is raising their arms and shouting. Countless shouts gathered together, and the momentum shook the sky. Even Lin Yuan was slightly touched in his heart. If he hadn't obtained the God-level selection system, I'm afraid he would be like this group of people, shouting to disperse the tension in his heart. After the principal delivered his speech, the crowd dispersed and each group walked in the direction of their own classes. Lin Yuan, the principal just said that if someone from our school can get the top prize in the martial arts examination in Zhenhai City, the school will reward him with a reward of 300,000 yuan. Today, Chu Yu is wearing a light green dress, which just exposes her white ankles. Her ponytail is tied back casually, looking fresh and natural, attracting the attention of many people. If jealous eyes could kill, I'm afraid Lin Yuan would have been cut to pieces long ago. Lin Yuan said with a smile, if you can really get the top prize in Zhenhai City's martial arts exam, you won't care about the 300,000. Chu Yu nodded. What you said makes sense. Being able to get the top prize in the martial arts examination means that your martial arts talent must be quite good. The candidates who have been able to get the top prize in previous years, if they had not fallen halfway, would have reached the level of a 6th level little grandmaster at worst. For a warrior of this level, a mere 300,000 is really just a small amount of money. They just go out of the city and kill a 6th level alien beast. The materials on the beast alone can probably be sold for more than 10 or 200,000. However, I quite want to take the 300,000. Lin Yuan smiled and said slightly casually. Of course, it's not that Lin Yuan himself needs the money that much. He just wanted to take the money and go back to make his parents happy. After all, Lin Yuan's family is not that rich. His father is an unloader at an arms factory, and his mother is just an ordinary office worker. Just to support Lin Yuan to practice martial arts has already emptied the family's few savings. Even so, his parents still wanted to give Lin Yuan the best conditions. If they can get the 300,000 in this way, it can be regarded as a kind of reward from Lin Yuan to them. Believe me, you can do it. Chu Yu raised the corners of his mouth slightly and playfully made a cheering gesture towards Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan smiled and said, that's really a blessing from you. However, at this moment, a slightly sarcastic word quietly reached his ears. You want to take the 300,000, but you don't look in the mirror to see if you are worthy. After hearing this, Lin Yuan frowned slightly and looked in the direction of the sound. I saw a slender, short-haired young man wearing white short sleeves, looking at him coldly. It's worth mentioning that this guy's eyes actually emit a strange blue light. Based on this characteristic alone, Lin Yuan quickly determined the identity of the other party. 4th place on the Zhenhai Tian list, blue eyes, Guan Shang. Originally, Lin Yuan was still confused as to why this guy suddenly came to provoke him. After all, after defeating Hong Dingtian, Lin Yuan has kept a low profile, either practicing in the martial arts room or studying in the library every day. There is no grudge against the other people on the list. However, when Lin Yuan saw the man standing next to Guan Shang, he quickly understood why this guy was targeting him in this way. Because the person standing next to Guan Shang is none other than Hong Dingtian. If he remembered correctly, Guan Shang and Hong Dingtian should be in the same class. Now it seems that the two people have a good relationship. Lin Yuan glanced at the latter and sneered. Did I not speak clearly enough that day, or do you want to be slapped again? I've already told you, from now on in school, walk around me. When these words were spoken, Lin Yuan's tone suddenly became serious. Hong Dingtian seemed a little frightened and couldn't help but take a step back. However, he quickly reacted and shouted with a red face, Lin Yuan, I advise you not to push yourself too far. Excessive. Do you need me to teach you what propriety is? The energy and blood in Lin Yuan's body surged instantly, and the momentum was terrifying. At this moment, Guan Shang calmly took a step and stood in front of Hong Dingtian, with blue light flashing in his eyes. If you want to use your power to overwhelm others, you are not qualified. For a time, a spiritual power that seemed to be substantial spread in all directions, directly dispersing Lin Yuan's momentum. Ordinary warriors mainly focus on cultivating qi and blood, supplemented by cultivating spiritual power. However, those with spiritual power are a special kind of warrior who mainly practice spiritual power. And the blue-eyed Guan Shang in front of Lin Yuan is a 3rd-level mental power user. It is said that his mental power has reached 9,000 Hz, and he is only one step away from reaching the level of a 4th-level mental power user. Lin Yuan narrowed his eyes dangerously, smiled and said, it seems that you are determined to help your friend stand out. Guan Shang said calmly, I just want to consult with Brother Lin to see if you can hold your position as the 5th person on the ranking list. There is a strong flavor of gunpowder in Guan Zhang's words. You must know that Lin Yuan's position as the fifth person on the heavenly ranking was taken from Hong Dingtian. Lin Yuan glanced at him lazily and said, "How do you want to ask for advice?" Guansheng sneered and said, "Whatever you are good at, I will teach you. If you don't even dare to accept this, then it doesn't matter. For a coward like you, I will completely defeat you during the martial arts test." Before Lin Yuan could answer, the God-level selection system was triggered again. Option 1. Compete with Guansheng for appearance, and be rewarded with 500 blood points and 500 spiritual power. Option 2. Compete with Guansheng in the literary test, and be rewarded with 1000 blood points and 1000 spiritual power. After the host makes a choice, all rewards will be automatically released in advance. If the host fails to complete the selection requirements, all rewards will be automatically withdrawn and corresponding penalties will be imposed. Lin Yuan, what the hell, what kind of barren option is this? System, do you dare to be normal? Even if we are competing in terms of appearance, why not let me have a fair fight with this guy? Lin Yuan pondered for a moment, and finally prepared to choose the second option. Of course he chose the second option because the reward was more generous. It's definitely not because you're not confident enough about your appearance. This cheating system specializes in these fancy options. Lin Yuan took a deep breath, looked at the concern in front of him, and said lightly, "Well, learning is my strength, why don't we compare it? Compete with who has higher scores in the liberal arts exam." As soon as Lin Yuan said these words, the surroundings became completely silent. Even Chu Yu looked at Lin Yuan in disbelief. "Are you kidding? God learning is your strong point. I have been sitting at the same table with you for 3 years, but I have never seen you study." As for Guansheng and Hong Dingtian in front of Lin Yuan, their faces were even more stunned. None of them expected that Lin Yuan would go so far as to compete with Guansheng in the literary test. You must know that people with mental abilities have unique advantages in learning because of their extraordinary mental strength. Taking Guansheng as an example, in the previous mock literary exams, his scores never fell out of the top 3 in the school. In comparison, Lin Yuan, whose literary test scores have always been in the middle, is simply not good enough. Guansheng sneered, "Do you think you can beat me in the literary test?" Lin Yuan nodded seriously and said, "That's right. Good, very good." Guansheng was so angry that he laughed instead. This was the first time he felt being despised. Especially in the field he is best at. Since you are so confident, there is no point in just competing. How about adding some bets? Lin Yuan was instantly happy. He hadn't even spoken yet, so why did he take the initiative to send him something? What do you want to bet on? Bet on this. Guansheng directly took out a golden fruit from the backpack behind him. The skin was crystal clear, as if it were crystal. Golden tree fruit. Lin Yuan frowned slightly and quickly recognized the fruit. "Hey, you have some knowledge." Guansheng held up the golden fruit and said calmly, "Take the golden fruit outside the school. If it sells for at least 300,000 yuan, I'll bet you on it." Looking at the golden fruit in front of him, even Hong Dingtian couldn't help but flash a hint of greed in his eyes. You must know that for low-level mentalists, the golden tree fruit is simply a sacred object. If Hong Dingtian guessed correctly, Guansheng definitely wanted to use this golden tree fruit to attack the level of 4th-level mental power users. Unexpectedly, he actually took this out as a bet. It seems that this time, Guansheng is really angry. However, this is also good. Because only in this way, Lin Yuan will lose even more miserably, and he will be able to relieve his anger even more. Thinking of this, Hong Dingtian's eyes fell on Lin Yuan with ill intentions. "How about it? Lin Yuan, will you accept this bet or not? What, are you afraid? Don't you dare to take it." Seeing Lin Yuan's delay in replying, Guansheng sneered and said sarcastically. Lin Yuan is certainly not afraid anymore. It was just a literary test. If Lin Yuan failed Guansheng, then the 10 memory capsules he took would have been in vain. But the key is, Lin Yuan shrugged and said helplessly, "I don't have enough money." The golden tree fruit that Guan wanted to take out was worth 300,000. Lin Yuan could either gamble with him with 300,000 yuan, or give him something of the same value. Obviously, the impoverished Lin Yuan does not meet both criteria. "Guanxiang," He really didn't expect that Lin Yuan would use such a simple and crude reason to reject his bet. Hee. Guanshong shook his head, and a sarcastic smile appeared at the corner of his mouth again. I almost forgot to consider your family background. To be honest, it is already very difficult for a family like yours to support you in taking the martial arts exam. Naturally, there is no spare money. It's better than this. How about you kowtow 3 times in front of Hong Dingtian and ask him to give you 10 slaps in the face, and I will give you 300,000 to bet against me. One kowtow is worth 100,000. I'm afraid a family like yours can't make that much money in a year, right? The sarcasm in Guan Zheng's words became increasingly intense. Hong Dingtian stood beside him with an excited look on his face. Lin Yuan, things are turning, and it's your turn to feel embarrassed. At this moment, a clear voice suddenly rang in the ears of the two of them. I said, isn't it just 300,000? I went out for brother Lin Yuan. The person who spoke was none other than Chu Yu, who had been following Lin Yuan. She casually took out a bank card from her pocket and said calmly, there are about 500,000 or 600,000 in this card. The password is my birthday. If you don't believe it, I can take you to check it now. Quote. Subsequently, Chu Yu put the bank card into Lin Yuan's hand. Now, are you qualified enough to bet with you? Guan Zheng's face became uncertain. Are you just going to hide behind women? Lin Yuan looked confused. When did I hide behind you? You. Guan wanted to look angry, but fortunately Hong Dingtian caught him in time and whispered in his ear, Brother Guan, there is no need to fall out with this kid at this time. If he competes with you on the literary test, it will be a dead end. Wait until we win the 300,000, and then we will target him properly in the martial arts exam so that he will never be able to stand up again. After listening to Hong Dingtian's words, Guanshong calmed down and nodded lightly. Compared to meaningless battles of temper, bets are more important. Thinking of this, Guanshong glanced at Lin Yuan coldly. Since someone is willing to pay for you, then the bet is established. Hong Dingtian, let's go. Lin Yuan said calmly, walk slowly. After Guanshong and Hong Dingtian left, Lin Yuan looked directly at Chu Yu. The latter's eyes flickered slightly, as if he didn't dare to look at him. Lin Yuan finally spoke. You little girl, where did you get so much money? Chu Yu said weakly, the pocket money I have worked so hard to save. Lin Yuan was almost angry at this little girl, who has 500,000 or 600,000 pocket money. But having said that, in fact, Lin Yuan has always known in his heart that Chu Yu's family background may not be simple. This is why Lin Yuan always chose to ignore Chu Yu's expression of emotion. He is not a straight man, so he can naturally tell that Chu Yu has a crush on him. However, when thinking about the huge family background behind Chu Yu, Lin Yuan still felt a little powerless after all. You lent me so much money to take over his bet, aren't you afraid that I'll lose everything to you? Hee, don't be afraid. If you win, treat me to dinner. If you lose, just sell yourself to pay the debt. Chu Yu raised his face and replied with a smile. You little girl. Lin Yuan was still a little moved in his heart. He moved his gaze to the distance and said softly, don't worry, I will definitely win. I always believe in you. By the way, didn't you say you would let me take the exam at Wuhan University in Shanghai? What about you? Are you confident that you can pass the exam? Lin Yuan just remembered this. Although it is not difficult for him to get into Wudu University in the Magic City, it may still be difficult for Chu Yu. However, Chu Yu gave him a very surprised look. I didn't say that I wanted to take the martial arts exam. I can directly recommend him to the Magic City Martial Arts University. Lin Yuan, just think I didn't ask. Children from rich and powerful families are indeed born with silver spoons in their mouths. On June 7th, the martial arts exam officially begins. These days, the bet between Lin Yuan and Guanshong has spread throughout Junhai No. 3 Middle School. Even in the forum, there are many posts about the bet between two people. Even some people are betting on who has a higher score in the liberal arts test. Of course, Lin Yuan's odds far exceeded Guanshong. After all, Guan Zheng's performance is very stable, and he has been firmly in the top 3 seats in Junhai No. 3 Middle School in the mock literary test. So, the vast majority of people feel that Guanxiang can win. Only Chu Yu, a silly girl, wants to go against everyone. Another 100,000 yuan was placed in his own name, betting that Lin Yuan would win. With such a large sum of money, even Lin Yuan's odds were lowered a lot by her own efforts. However, for the group of people who want to win, this is a great thing. After all, someone is offering money to your door, so why not? As for whether Guansheng will lose. Joke, how could Guansheng lose? Even if Lin Yuan can beat Guansheng in actual combat, they don't believe that Lin Yuan can beat Guansheng in the liberal arts exam. After all, the learning ability of mentalists is more than just talk. No one expected that just a bet between two people would become known to the whole school before the martial arts exam. Lin Yuan definitely doesn't believe that no one is behind this. You must know that when the bet was made, only he, Chu Yu, Guansheng and Hong Dingtian were present. It is self-evident who actually released the news. Obviously, Guansheng and Hong Dingtian's purpose of announcing the bet was very simple, which was to prevent Lin Yuan from defaulting on his debt and to make him lose face. However, what these two people didn't expect was that what they did was exactly in line with Lin Yuan's wishes. You can laugh as much as you want now. The happier you laugh now, the harder I will make you cry after you pass the literary test. Outside the school gate, parents were gathered anxiously waiting. The streets were extremely empty. Because during the college entrance examination period, any behavior that affects the performance of candidates is expressly prohibited. Hence, all vehicles are not allowed to pass through the area where the examination venue is located during the examination period. In the examination room classroom, Lin Yuan placed the admission ticket and ID card in the upper right corner of the table for the examiner to check, and the test papers were also distributed. The first session, Chinese language test. After Lin Yuan briefly browsed the test paper, he started writing directly and his pen was very fast. This test paper is not too difficult, but there are two questions. The knowledge points tested are extremely remote, and they are obviously used to increase the score. However, for Lin Yuan, who has experienced the baptism of memory capsules, such difficult questions are nothing at all. He can recall even the most obscure knowledge points. It's too simple. After walking out of the examination room, compared to the sad faces of other candidates, Lin Yuan's face looked relaxed and comfortable. In the next day and a half, martial arts candidates across the country took 3 more exams: history, mathematics and a second foreign language. Lin Yuan still had no pressure in taking the exams in these subjects. Let alone courses that require memorization such as history and foreign languages, even highly flexible subjects like mathematics, Lin Yuan has tens of thousands of examples stored in his mind. Always changing, the memory capsule not only helps Lin Yuan memorize things by rote, but also helps him gain in-depth understanding. In this way, no matter how difficult a math problem is, for Lin Yuan, as long as it has appeared before, he can easily solve it. After completing these 4 exams, Lin Yuan also had a general understanding of his results. Chinese, due to too many subjective factors, is probably between 140 and 150 points. There is nothing much to say about mathematics, it must be full marks. Even if he doesn't get full marks for history and foreign languages, Lin Yuan probably won't be far behind, and the score won't fluctuate by more than 5 points. Before this, Lin Yuan had never felt that taking an exam was such a relaxing and enjoyable thing. However, after these 4 exams, the real highlight is finally coming. The 5th exam, Exotic Beastology. As the most important subject after the explosion of source energy, the score of alienology is as high as 200 points. However, if you want to get points in this subject, you can only use the word difficult to describe it. Taking Junhai number 3 middle school as an example, only 5% of the students in the school were able to score more than 100 points in the simulation test of xenozoology. It is evident how difficult it is. This exam is more rigorous than all the previous exams combined. During the exam period, the school is completely closed and no one is allowed to enter. All teachers participate in patrols and are on guard against intruders. All candidates please enter the examination room in order according to the examination serial number. As the sound of the broadcast came, Lin Yuan took a deep breath, turned around and walked into the examination room. It is said to be an examination room, but in fact it is just an independent simulation projection room. Because the course of alienology is quite special, even the examination is not conducted in the form of a normal written examination. The exam officially begins. The next second, the scene in front of Lin Yuan changed instantly. Lin Yuan glanced around, his eyes full of emerald green, and the surrounding air was a bit hot and humid. He was obviously in a subtropical jungle. Before Lin Yuan could take a closer look, a translucent light curtain appeared out of thin air in front of his eyes. Question 1. Which of the following strange beasts will survive in the environment you are in now? A. Viper-tailed scorpion. B. Scaled giant ape. C. Demonic swamp frog. D. Bloodthirsty spider. Remaining time, 30 seconds, 29 seconds. For such a complicated real-life examination question, the candidates are only given a mere 30 seconds. Lin Yuan's brain began to work rapidly. First of all, exclude option B. The scaly giant ape is a strange mountain beast and is unlikely to appear in jungle areas. Then, Lin Yuan stretched out his hand and felt the humidity in the air. The answer is C. Lin Yuan did not hesitate and chose the third option. It's very simple. The humidity in this jungle is very high, almost reaching the level where water vapor can condense. The only one best suited to survive in this environment is the demon swamp frog. After Lin Yuan made his judgment, the surrounding scene changed again. Time passes by minute. Until now, Lin Yuan has not encountered any particularly difficult problems. If nothing else happens, he will pass the course of alien beastology with full marks. At this moment, the last big question appeared in front of Lin Yuan through the transparent light curtain again. Analysis question. If you lead a well-equipped mercenary team to the top of Mount Everest, how should you seize the Ice Peak Frost Vein Lotus from the protection of the Snow Mountain Demon Ape King? After the topic appeared, the scenery around Lin Yuan changed again. Surrounded by thousands of miles of ice, the cold air penetrates the bones. Behind Lin Yuan were his companions from the mercenary team. A third-level melee warrior, a third-level psychic warrior, and an archery warrior equipped with a longbow also possess third-level strength. However, the Snow Mountain Demon Ape King is powerful enough to easily kill a fifth-level warrior. Lin Yuan looked up and saw a huge white ape with a strong body and an extremely violent look, waiting for an ice blue lotus. Obviously, this fifth-level Snow Mountain Demon Ape King will directly hammer any human who tries to get close into a pulp. My head hurts now. This amount of people is simply not enough to see. Lin Yuan rubbed his temples with a troubled look on his face. With such a small number of people, it is simply impossible to defeat the Snow Mountain Demon Ape King. It is a complete dead end. The so-called mercenary team with a reasonable configuration is simply used to mislead candidates. If you really think you can come up with some wonderful tactics and try to fight the Snow Mountain Demon Ape King, there will only be one end, and that is to be beaten into a pulp one after another. Another common idea is that candidates are likely to choose to use the method to lure the tiger away from the mountain. First, let a team member lure away the Snow Mountain Demon Ape King, and then let others pick the Ice Lotus. If you think so too, congratulations. You have also fallen into the trap of this question. The roots of Ice Peak Frost Vein Lotus are intricate. If you want to dig them out and ensure their survival, you must dig them out along with the soil below. This process takes at least half an hour. No third-level warrior could lure the Snow Mountain Demon Ape King away for so long. So, the end result of doing this is still the annihilation of the whole army. Fortunately, there is no time limit for answering this question. Lin Yuan closed his eyes and began to try hard to recall the relevant cases and all the clues about this topic. Time passes by minute. About 10 minutes later, Lin Yuan suddenly opened his eyes. He finally thought of the key to breaking the situation. Although this question raises a lot of misunderstandings, as long as you grasp the key to answering the question, everything will be easily solved. The most critical point lies in the third-level mentalist in the team. The Snow Mountain Demonic Ape King is an extremely rare beast, and there is no introduction about it even in textbooks. Even Lin Yuan accidentally remembered the characteristics of this snow-capped mountain beast while doing extensive reading in the library. I have to say that the Snow Mountain Demon Ape is an extremely powerful beast. Their energy and blood are extremely abundant, and can even be more than twice that of a warrior of the same level of energy and blood. But there are flaws in the world, and there are also huge flaws in the Snow Mountain Demon Ape. This flaw is that the mental power of the Snow Mountain Demon Ape is extremely weak. So, even the illusion created by third-level mental power users is enough to affect their senses. Lin Yuan turned his head and looked to the other side. There, on top of Mount Everest, is an extremely steep cliff. This terrain was deliberately hidden and was not mentioned in the title. Obviously, the question maker does not want the candidates to answer the questions so easily, but hopes that they can find clues through their own eyes. After all, in actual combat, there won't be so many prompts. In this way, it is not difficult to break the situation. You only need to let the mental power user create an illusion, turn the cliff into flat ground, and then lure the Snow Mountain Demon Ape King to rush over and fall down the cliff, and then you can easily kill him. In this way, they will have plenty of time to pick the Ice Peak Frost Vein Lotus. Lin Yuan quickly wrote down his answer ideas on the translucent light screen in front of him. The next second, the scenery in front of me suddenly disappeared. Examinee, Lin Yuan, congratulations on completing all the content of this exam. Please wait in the examination room for the end of the exam. I wish you good luck in martial arts. Lin Yuan waited boredly in the examination room for half an hour before he was able to walk out of the examination room. Almost everyone in the corridor of the examination room was crying. My God, the difficulty of this exam is too high. I am confused about half of the multiple choice questions, and I have no clue about the last big question. Who is not? These are all side questions, how can we answer them? The teacher also asked us to pay attention to the intentions of the people who asked the questions when we were reviewing the questions. What intentions did the people who asked the questions have? I think their intention was to kill us. It's over, now the literary test is completely ruined. I can only rely on the martial arts test to get some points. Lin Yuan listened to a mournful howl in his ears and walked through the crowd with a smile. For these ordinary students, the difficulty of this test paper is indeed on the standard line. It may not be easy to pass the exam. After the end of this science of exotic beasts, the real martial arts test will begin in 5 days. The results of the literary test will be announced within 3 days. Most of the test papers are graded by computers. The error is extremely small and the speed is naturally improved. In other words, before the official start of the martial arts examination, the results of the liberal arts examination will be made public. And the result of the bet between Lin Yuan and Guansheng will also be revealed soon. Just as Lin Yuan was about to leave the teaching building along the corridor, he found Guansheng leaning against the corner wall, waiting for his arrival. Lin Yuan, there are still 3 days left, your little girlfriend's 300,000 yuan should be mine. And you will soon become the laughingstock in the eyes of the whole school. Guansheng raised his head, glanced at him coldly, and sneered. Lin Yuan replied lazily, did you come here to wait for me for so long just to tell me this? If so, then I hope you understand the principle of a good dog staying out of the way. Step aside, I'm going home. Seeing Lin Yuan's indifferent attitude, Guansheng couldn't help but feel a little annoyed. He snorted coldly. I hope you can still maintain such a calm attitude after 3 days. That's not a problem for you to worry about. Lin Yuan responded calmly, passed Guansheng directly, and walked downstairs. Guanzheng's face twitched slightly, but he did not stop Lin Yuan from going downstairs. Because in his opinion, Lin Yuan is just a stubborn duck with a tough mouth. When he thought that 3 days later, he would be able to win the 300,000 yuan from Lin Yuan with his own hands, Guansheng felt relieved. Just for Lin Yuan, it is simply impossible to achieve a higher score than himself in the liberal arts exam. What's more, in this literary test, I feel that my performance is even far better than the previous mock tests. Even for the last big question in the examination of alienology, Guansheng can guarantee that no one in the school can give a perfect answer. And his answer, at least, can get more than half of the points. On this question alone, Guansheng can open a 15-point gap with others. In this way, he is more certain to be admitted to Yanjing Wuhan University. 3 days passed by in a blink of an eye. The day for the release of liberal arts examination results has finally arrived. Junhai number 3 middle school's liberal arts scores are released through ranking lists. At 9 o'clock in the morning that day, everyone can find their scores and rankings on the list. This approach is not only to ensure absolute fairness, openness, and impartiality, but also to inspire future generations of students. On the day when the results were released, a sea of people gathered at the gate of Junhai No. 3 Middle School. At 9 o'clock, everyone's results and rankings will be released on the huge electronic screen in front of them. Those gathered at the school gate were not only the fresh graduates, but also many of the parents of the candidates, as well as the younger students. After all, although the scores in the liberal arts exam only account for 35% of the total score, who can win the top spot in the liberal arts exam is still an eye-catching matter. It's 9 o'clock. Among the crowd, someone shouted out first. The electronic screen in front of you also instantly refreshed the literary test scores of all candidates. Everyone could not help but hold their breath and looked at the results on the top of the big screen. Some people cheered and some were crestfallen. Some families are happy and some are sad. Hong Dingtian was followed by Guanshong. He raised his head and also looked at the big screen in front of him. He looked directly up from the 10th position. This is a special habit he has developed during his 3 years in high school. Because every time you take an exam, no matter how poorly you perform, you will never fall out of the top 10 in the school. So, Guanshong can easily find his own ranking as long as he starts from the 10th position and works his way up. The name he was looking for was not found between the 4th and 10th places. Guanshong felt happy. It seems that the top 3 in this literary test are stable. Although this is not the first time that he has been among the top 3 in the school, this is a literary test that determines his future destiny, and the meaning is naturally completely different. The 3rd place is still not him. Guanshong took a deep breath and moved his gaze upward again. 2nd place, Guanshong, total score in literary test, 749 points. After seeing his ranking and results, Guanshong suddenly clenched his fists and could no longer remain calm, his face was full of joy. The performance this time was indeed better than he expected. With a total score of 749 points, let alone Junhai's top 3, even if we look at the entire Junhai city, I'm afraid he can be among the top 10. However, just when Guanshong was extremely excited, Hong Dingtian's face turned livid. What's wrong with you? Did you fail in the exam? Guanshong frowned, turned his head, and asked softly. Hong Dingtian opened his mouth and said with great difficulty, no, look, the number 1 position. The 1st place position. Guanshong was stunned for a moment, raised his head, and looked towards the top position again. The next second, Guanzhang's eyes widened, with an expression on his face that he had seen a ghost. Because at the top position on the screen, Lin Yuan's name is prominently listed. 1st place, Lin Yuan, total score in literary test, 788 points. Lin Yuan actually beat him by nearly 40 points in total points. How is this possible? How could a person achieve a score of 788 points? You should know that the perfect score is only 800 points. The most important thing is, how could Lin Yuan get such a result? Guanshong suddenly felt dizzy. He felt that this world was simply too ridiculous. The voices of everyone's discussions began to gradually reach Guanzhang's ears. Who is this number 1? With a score of 788. This is too perverted. When did such a monster appear in our school? I've never heard of it. Isn't this the same Lin Yuan who defeated Yi Wushou and Hong Dingtian a while ago? I heard that he even made a bet with Guanshong, who is ranked 4th on the Tianban ranking, and the bet is on who gets the higher score in the liberal arts exam. Real or fake? What are you betting on? Of course it's true. You haven't been to our school forum these days. Many posts are discussing this matter. I heard that Guanshong and Lin Yuan bet a golden tree fruit. My darling, I dare to bet on something like golden tree fruit. Guanshong really shot himself in the foot this time and suffered huge losses. Before Guanshong could recover from the shock, Lin Yuan's voice sounded softly behind him again. Guanshong, is it time that the bet between you and me has been fulfilled now? Guanshong turned around and gritted his teeth and said, Lin Yuan, what method did you use to cheat? Lin Yuan looked at him with a half smile but not a smile. What's the matter? Death is imminent, and he started to attack me. Are you throwing dirty water? There's no way you could have scored such a high score by yourself. You are a despicable person who cheats to win. Guanshong roared with twitching face, and his voice sounded a little hysterical. I request to apply to the school for inspection of your test papers. I want to expose you. The movement here quickly attracted the attention of everyone around. The onlookers quickly surrounded Guanshong and Lin Yuan. Hong Dingtian on the side has not yet recovered from his dazed state. He still has not figured out how Lin Yuan got such an incredible score. Principal Gao is here. Just as the two were confronting each other, the crowd around them suddenly gave way to a path. A middle-aged man with a square and majestic face came to the two of them, surrounded by everyone. Principal Gao, this is Lin Yuan. The person who spoke was a fat, bald middle-aged man. He pointed at Lin Yuan, and his face almost broke out in laughter. This bald middle-aged man is Lin Yuan's class teacher. Lin Yuan scored such a high score in the exam, and even he was able to get a reward from the school. No wonder he was so happy. Good, very good. In my Junhai number 3 middle school, everyone is indeed a hero and a phoenix, a talent that can be built upon. Principal Gao laughed and patted Lin Yuan on the shoulder, with a look of approval on his face. This is not just because Lin Yuan ranked first in the school. What's more, the total score of 788, even if compared to the entire Junhai city, is the overwhelming number one. In other words, Lin Yuan is the top scorer in this year's literary test. Lin Yuan can receive such an honor, and Junhai No. 3 middle school can also gain greater attention. This is definitely a good thing, a huge good thing. Lin Yuan pursed his lips, smiled and said, Principal Gao thanks you. Ha ha ha, your attitude is very humble. Principal Gao smiled and said, I will try my best to take the next martial arts test again, and I will try to come back as the number 1 scholar in Junhai City. Lin Yuan smiled and said, thank you for your good words from the principal. However, at this moment, Guanshong seemed to have grasped a life-saving straw. He rushed directly in front of Principal Gao, pointed at Lin Yuan with one finger, and said sternly, Principal Gao, I want to report that he used cheating by unfair means. It's impossible for him to get such a high score based on his own ability. Once he heard what Guan wanted to say, Principal Gao's face instantly darkened. Whether Lin Yuan cheated or not, he didn't know. But once Guan Zhang's words are spoken, if they are not handled properly, they will definitely have an extremely bad impact on the school. After all, there were so many people present, including parents of the students. What would they think if they heard that the top scorer in Junhai number 3 middle school's literary test was achieved through cheating? This concern, there is really no sense of propriety in what I say. Although Principal Gao was very angry in his heart, he did not show it after all. After all, the most pressing issue now is to handle this matter properly. So, Principal Gao patiently asked softly, you said that classmate Lin Yuan cheated, what evidence is there? Guanshong said angrily, in the first 3 mock tests, he didn't even get into the top 100 in the school. How could he suddenly get such a high score this time? As soon as he said these words, everyone around him couldn't help but nodded. The total score of 788 is indeed a bit high. If it weren't for the existence of subjective questions, which are difficult to get full marks, this score would be infinitely close to full marks. However, at this moment, Principal Gao felt the urge to curse. You don't even have any evidence, so you dare to accuse others of cheating. Do you know that this is tarnishing the image of the school? Faced with Guan Zhang's doubts, Lin Yuan shrugged extremely relaxedly and said, Student Guanshong, please don't spit on others. This is what I call accumulation. Guanshong took a deep breath and said, I'm applying to check your test papers. He believed that as long as he checked Lin Yuan's test paper, he would be able to find corresponding clues in it. Principal Gao turned to look at Lin Yuan and asked, what do you think Mr. Lin agrees with? Lin Yuan said nonchalantly, if he wants to check it, let him check it. Then do it like this. Principal Gao made the final decision. The electronic draft of the test paper will be distributed to the school on time at around 10 o'clock. Since some people suspect that Lin Yuan may have cheated during the exam, we will take out Lin Yuan's test paper for inspection. Anyone who is interested in Lin Yuan's test papers can come to the Academic Affairs Office to check. All results of Junhai number 3 middle school are open, fair and impartial. We will neither wrongly accuse any good student nor cover up any fraudster. After Principal Gao said these words, there was another round of applause from all around. The former breathed a sigh of relief, finally settling the matter. However, Principal Gao now only hopes that there won't be any problems with Lin Yuan's test paper. Otherwise, all the glory that Lin Yuan, the top student in the literary examination, brought to the school, will turn into dirty muddy water, causing the reputation of Junhai No. 3 Middle School to plummet. At this moment, Lin Yuan suddenly spoke. Principal Gao, I can agree to Guan Zhang's conditions, but I still have one condition. Guan Shang snorted coldly. What? Are you afraid of being exposed now? Lin Yuan ignored him and continued to talk to Principal Gao. My condition is that if there are no problems with my test paper, I hope that student Guan Shang can publicly apologize to me. Principal Gao pondered for a moment and then said, your request is not too much, but I still need to ask student Guan for his opinion. Guan Shang gritted his teeth and said, I have no objection. Well, let's wait for the results of the examination paper correction to be released. Half an hour passed quickly. Although all students already knew their grades, the vast majority did not choose to leave. They also wanted to see if there were any problems with Lin Yuan's test paper. Since there were too many people who wanted to see what happened, Principal Gao directly asked the Academic Affairs Office to project Lin Yuan's test paper onto the electronic screen at the school entrance. Soon, 2 test papers appeared on the screen. The one on the left is Lin Yuan's test paper. The one on the right is a test paper filled with standard answers. Guan Shang held his breath and scanned the past line after line, for fear of missing something. The screen scrolled slowly, and the test papers for the 5 subjects of Chinese, history, mathematics, second foreign language and alienology were displayed in sequence. After all the papers for all subjects were scrolled and projected, everyone was silent, including Guan Shang. Because there was almost no flaw in Lin Yuan's test paper. Even, Lin Yuan answered some questions more perfectly than the standard answers. Even the last analysis question of the alienology examination, which has stumped tens of millions of candidates, Lin Yuan answered with a clear mind. How could a test paper with more perfect answers than the standard answers be obtained by cheating? Suddenly, the students looked at Lin Yuan with slightly different eyes. I really didn't expect that in their Junhai No. 3 Middle School, there would be such a top-notch academic figure hidden in the sky. The joy on Principal Gao's face was hard to conceal. This Lin Yuan really gave them the face of Junhai No. 3 Middle School. Gulu. Guan Shang felt that his throat was dry and he swallowed hard. Lin Yuan turned around and said calmly, now, is it time to apologize? I'm sorry. I wronged you. Guan Zhang's head was lowered, and he said this sentence with great difficulty. Under the gaze of Principal Gao and so many teachers and students in the school, Guan Shang did not have the face to regret it. Since you know you're wrong, you should give me the stuff, right? Lin Yuan directly extended his hand to Guan Shang. The latter gritted his teeth and finally took out the golden tree fruit from his arms and handed it to Lin Yuan's hand with great reluctance. The reason why Guan Shang bet this golden tree fruit in the first place is because he never thought that he would lose. You must know that this golden tree fruit is the basis for him to break through the 4th level of spiritual power. Once he loses to Lin Yuan, his next martial arts test may even be affected. Thank you, Brother Guan, for your generosity. Lin Yuan took the golden tree fruit from Guan Shang with a smile. Subsequently, something that no one expected happened. Lin Yuan grabbed the golden tree fruit and put it into his mouth. With a click, he took a big bite. Everyone's face was filled with astonishment. This guy actually ate the golden tree fruit so easily. A golden tree fruit was swallowed by Lin Yuan in just 3 or 5 mouthfuls. At the same time, his mental power also began to increase rapidly. If Lin Yuan's mental power was originally just a pool of water, then now, with the help of the golden tree fruit, this pool is gradually beginning to expand into a lake. For a Qi blood warrior like Lin Yuan, whose mental power does not even exceed 5,000 Hz, the golden tree fruit is simply a divine object. This golden tree fruit can, at least, increase Lin Yuan's spiritual power by 1000 Hz. Under the astonished gazes of everyone, Lin Yuan smacked his lips casually. The taste of this fruit seems to be pretty good. Such a fruit worth 300,000 yuan was swallowed by Lin Yuan in just a few mouthfuls. This is simply a waste of natural resources. You must know that the biggest role of golden tree fruit is not to increase mental power. It is used to forcefully break through levels when the growth of mental power gradually stagnates. Using it like Lin Yuan is simply a waste, a huge waste. However, Lin Yuan himself did not take it seriously. Anyway, he has a system, and there are no shackles that can trap him. As long as you make a choice, your strength can become stronger. Lin Yuan, you are cruel enough. Wait for me during the martial arts test. Guan Shang said a harsh word, then turned around and left. Staying here is just making others laugh. Principal Gao had no intention of mediating the conflict between the two. After all, it is normal for young people to be a little bloody. And now, in the new martial arts era, martial arts must compete. So, Principal Gao just patted Lin Yuan on the shoulder again and encouraged, "Come on for the martial arts exam." Junhai No. 1 Middle School. On the rooftop of a teaching building. A bare-chested, muscular man seemed to be practicing a set of boxing techniques. Each move was very methodical and explosive at the same time. Each punch is blasted out, causing a series of sonic booms. Tonghu, have you heard? This year, a monster appeared in Junhai No. 3 Middle School, and he actually got 788 points in the literary test. How do you think this guy got there? A slightly lean young man, holding a piece of weed in his mouth, said dully, "How come I can't even get 500 points in the exam? No pain, no gain. If you don't work this, you won't get anything in return." Tonghu smiled calmly and spoke calmly. The lean young man spit out the weeds and said with an evil smile, "It's okay. In the new era of martial arts, strength is the most important thing. Even if I don't score high in the liberal arts test, I can still easily get into Wuhan University." Tonghu smiled slightly. "Monkey, hasn't your family already arranged for you to be escorted? Why do you still come to take the martial arts exam?" "Bah, I don't care about the recommendation." The lean young man known as Monkey rolled his eyes and said angrily, "I am a 4th-level martial artist, but I still need to be recommended to get into the Demon City Martial Arts University. But you kid, your strength is no worse than mine, and your liberal arts scores are good. You are a sure shot at getting admitted to Wuhan University in Shanghai. Why do you have to live like an ascetic every day? How about I take you out to relax tonight and find 2 girls to have fun with?" Tonghu calmly shook his head and continued to practice his boxing skills. He said lightly, "Unlike you, I don't have such a prominent family background. So, I can't relax at any time. Because, everything needs me to use these fists to fight for it." Tonghu's eyes flickered. He also wants to write his name in seal script in this prosperous age of martial arts. Junhai No. 2 Middle School, Spiritual Meditation Room. Brother Dong. A man who looked like an iron tower opened the door, his voice as dull as thunder. In the meditation room, a thin figure was sitting cross-legged with his eyes closed, seemingly practicing some kind of mental power technique. After being disturbed, he frowned slightly and said coldly, "Zhou Lai, didn't I tell you not to disturb me while meditating?" "Hee, Brother Dong, this time you didn't keep your position as number 1 in Junhai City." The Iron Tower man didn't care about the young man's indifferent attitude. Instead, he smiled and said teasingly, "The young man in front of me finally opened his eyes. His appearance is not outstanding, it can only be called handsome. But these eyes of his seem to possess a soul-stirring magical power. You can't help but feel. He is an extremely charming person. I already know about this." The young man spoke calmly, without any fluctuation in his tone, as if he was just describing a trivial matter. But the Iron Tower man named Zhou Lai did not think this was a small matter. "You must know that in all previous citywide mock examinations, Coltsfoot has always been firmly ranked first. Unexpectedly, a dark horse suddenly emerged this year. This year's top scholar in the literary test is Lin Yuan. And the second place is his Butterbur. The total score of the literary test is 783 points. The difference between the two is only 5 points. You already know," Zhou Lai said jokingly. "Then can I interview Brother Dong, how are you feeling now?" "It's nothing, I don't care about such small things at all. Besides, I also read his test paper, and he did answer better than me." Coltsfoot closed his eyes again, and as he closed his eyes, the inexplicable aura around him seemed to disappear again. Zhou Lai laughed dumbly. You are really calm. Take a long-term view, Zhou Lai. The literary test is not a big deal at all. Whether you are first or second, it makes no difference. It is just a false name. The next martial arts test is the real highlight. After these words of Butterbur came out, even Zhou Lai was slightly silent. Because he had to admit that Butterbur's words were right. Wen Kao is just an appetizer. The next martial arts test is really the battlefield where the martial arts geniuses from all walks of life fight. Although Lin Yuan is a dark horse that has attracted much attention now, if he cannot show strong enough strength in the martial arts test, he will only be a flash in the pan and eventually become a nobody among everyone else. The martial arts journey is so cruel. At this moment, Lin Yuan did not realize at all that he had received close attention from the geniuses of each school. Now, he is staying alone in his room, closing his eyes and meditating to get familiar with his soaring mental power. It has to be said that the qi, blood and spiritual power improved through external objects are not cultivated by oneself after all. After the upgrade, it will take some time to adapt. Otherwise, there is no way to control it. This is like a baby suddenly having the power of an adult, but he still doesn't know how to use it. Comparatively, the energy, blood and mental power rewarded by the system will not appear in this situation, just like what Lin Yuan has cultivated himself. Thinking of this, Lin Yuan couldn't help but feel a little depressed. If I had known better, I would have sold this fruit directly. At any rate, I am not lacking in the spiritual power of this 1000 HZ. Originally, I wanted to pretend to be cool, but who would have thought that such a situation would happen? Lin Yuan sighed, closed his eyes again, and began to control the spiritual power he obtained from the golden tree fruit as much as possible. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.